in college last night, 28-13. The news, a service of Crosscom Public Adjusters. If your home or business has an insurance claim, Crosscom will help you get what you need and have coming to you. They've helped thousands. CrosscomPublicAdjusters.com. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dr. Sebastian Gorka explains the Democrats in 2024.
Maybe the people in the middle, if they watch it, if they can understand what they're seeing, they'll get who the Democrat Party have become. It's not JFK's party. It's not Scoop Jackson's party. It is a party of America-hating, un-American losers.
America First with Dr. Sebastian Gorka. Afternoons at 3, right before Sean Thompson at 4 on AM 560. The Answer.
Augustino's Rock and Roll Deli, a family-owned restaurant, a Chicago family favorite for over 40 years. Why? Because they're known for sub sandwiches the size of your forearm. No joke. Their 6-inch sub has more meat and cheese in it than any foot long in an Irish neighborhood. These sandwiches are iconic, famous for their homemade Italian beef, meatballs, burgers, and, of course, delicious Italian subs loaded with mortadella, cabagol, salami, provolone, and their own secret sauce called Love Potion Number 9. This vinegar and oil dressing is famous on its own. Both Augustino's locations boast walls covered in authentic rock and roll memorabilia and artifacts, all celebrating their love for good old-fashioned rock and roll. Augie's is a feast for your eyes and your stomach. Dine in or carry out. Bring the family or the team. Plus, Augie's caters corporate meetings, parties, and celebrations. Don't make it yourself. Make it happen with Augustino's. Go to Augustinos.com for locations and menus. That's Augustinos.com.
Honey, have you seen our roof after that storm last night? I think we need to call someone.
Don't worry. We got the shingle company on speed dial.
But I keep hearing in the news recently how dangerous sloped roofs can be. Our home in particular has a sloped roof at its highest point.
Well, the shingle company isn't afraid of any sloped roofs. Their safety record is spotless, their warranty unmatched, and they offer a low-price apples-to-apples guarantee. Besides, it costs us nothing to get a quote.
The Shingle Company, your local roofing experts who handle even the steepest of slopes with ease. Whether it's residential or commercial roofing, they've got you covered. With 3 generations of building experience, they're also experts in siding, gutters, windows, and more.
I am so glad we called them, and I can't believe our insurance covered practically the whole project.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Plus, I love that they're proud supporters of AM 560.
Visit the Shingle Company today at shingleco.com. Again, that's shingleco.com.
5:11. Let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time, and this look at the roads, a service of Dell Technologies. Now your ideas don't have to wait. Dell Technologies and Intel are pushing what technology can do. Bring your ideas to life at Dell.com. Welcome to now. Edens, Kennedy, Ike, and Stevenson are off on time. We do not expect that to hold true for the rest of the day. We're seeing good news on 8094 east and westbound in northwest Indiana. No major construction delays so far this morning. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts next. Now, your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the AM 560 Weather Center, here's Ruth O'Brien.
Mostly sunny and nice today. A gorgeous day to be outside with high 78. Clear, starry night tonight, low 59. Sunshine all day tomorrow with a high up to 84. Warm on Thursday with clouds and sunshine, high up to 86. I'm Ruth O'Brien on AM 560, The Answer.
60 at O'Hare, 62 Midway, 52 Aurora, 53 Joliet, 66 along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update, 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer starts next on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Albert Mohler for townhall.com. The Supreme Court of the United States just hit the pause button on the Biden administration's enforcement of proposed changes to Title IX in the schools. The 3-page unsigned opinion blocks the Biden administration from enforcing the so-called expanded protections for transgender students, and that means the states have now at least a temporary authority to fight back against the Biden administration's radical rule changing the definition of sex and gender in the 1972 law. Now, we should note that there are already cases related to this redefinition of sex advancing through different levels of the federal courts. What we're looking at is a looming challenge for America's families, for America's churches, and frankly, for all who resist the gender revolution and the transgender confusion. It's another reminder of what's at stake in the 2024 presidential election. You can count on all this being pushed if Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are elected president and vice president, respectively. That's why the LGBTQ movement is so excited about them.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6745. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6745. That's 800-575-6745. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
If you own or run a business and you listen to AM 560, you might not realize that the conservative programming that you enjoy is supported by advertisers. Our loyal listeners love to do business with the advertisers they hear every day on AM 560. Now, it probably won't surprise you that there are some businesses who avoid advertising with us because they don't like what we do here. And that's okay, because our audience wants to support businesses that support what we do and think like we think. We would love to have you join the list of successful companies who are already reaching new, like-minded customers. Most AM 560 advertisers have been here for years for one simple reason: they get results. Join our efforts to make a difference in the lives of our listeners who are passionate about supporting our great family of AM 560 advertisers. To learn more, just visit 560theanswer.com/advertise. That's 560theanswer.com/advertise.
Wealth Health Radio. The biggest fears that people have is, do I have enough money to retire? Retirement doesn't have to be complicated. Make sure that you're going through retirement with confidence. Learn principles of income planning. There's a lot of different facets that you need to take into consideration when you're retiring. Tune into Wealth Health Radio with Joe Murphy, noon to 1 p.m. Sundays on AM 560, The Answer.
I'm worried about Mom. She's having a tough time moving around the house.
Oh, I know. She still thinks she can do everything on her own.
Exactly, but I've been over there every day this week, helping her navigate the stairs, cooking meals, reminding her to take her medicine. I'm always nervous when I leave.
You know what? I admire you for taking care of Mom. But your family needs you too. And what if she slips and falls? A friend recommended the caregivers at Senior Helpers of Naperville Southwest. They service Cook, DuPage, Kane, and Will counties. They guarantee compatibility and they'll conduct a free safety assessment of her home. Plus, they'll provide as little or as much care as Mom needs.
Senior Helpers of Naperville Southwest, offering both hourly and live-in care. Schedule a free assessment today by calling 331-281-0728. That's 331-281-0728. Again, that's 331-281-0728. And tell them AM 560 sent you. Senior Helpers of Naperville Southwest. Senior care, only better.
A great smile can make you feel happy and confident. So when you consciously conserve your teeth, that glowing smile will show through. At Best Dental Group, Doctors Economos, Gavalis, and their staff are ready to help you create that perfect look or maintain the one you have now. Along with general dentistry, Best Dental Group is a multidisciplined practice with an orthodontist, periodontist, and prosthetic specialists on site. They use the newest breakthroughs in dental technology, such as titanium implants, Invisalign clear braces, and laser treatments. Don't let fear get in the way. They can recommend sedation to make your experience as comfortable as possible. Best Dental Group is located in historic downtown Bartlett and is a multilingual office. Call 630-830-4930. That's 630-830-4930. Or visit bestdental.org. Best Dental Group, sharing your conservative values and helping you to conserve your teeth.
Hi, this is Carl Amari.
I'm Lisa Wolf. Join us every Saturday night beginning at 8 p.m. for all things entertainment on Hollywood 360.
If you love classic radio shows, The Shadow, Jack Benny, The Lone Ranger, Dragnet, Gunsmoke, and many more, we have them for you on Hollywood 360.
We'll also present trivia contests with prizes, showbiz news, celebrity interviews, games, and movie reviews.
So don't miss Hollywood 360 every Saturday night beginning at 8 p.m. on AM 560, The Answer.
Quick delivery service. What do you need delivered today?
Hi, I'm trying to work through a last-minute to-do list for my boss. Can you deliver a hard drive to the Loop in Chicago?
We can deliver that today.
Okay, can you deliver 20 boxes to a client in Rockford?
We can deliver that today.
Can you deliver 12 pallets of tile to our customer in Naperville?
We can deliver that today.
Can you deliver a large envelope to Northbrook?
We can deliver that today.
Oh my gosh, I think my water just broke. Can you...
We cannot deliver that.
Quick Delivery Service delivers your package no matter the size. More than just a messenger service, Quick Delivery Service is a messenger and trucking service that can also provide scheduled routes for your daily delivery or your air shipment. Trucks are equipped to handle the load and provide ground-level service for same-day delivery. The Quick Delivery Service team of safe, licensed professionals can provide quick door-to-door service for your special delivery. QuickDelivery.com. That's QuickDelivery.com. We deliver that today. But we don't deliver this.
Can you read this email for me?
Of course. Jeez, I wish they could do something for your eyesight.
Ugh, me too. But you heard what they said. There's nothing we can do.
When vision loss can't be corrected with glasses or surgery, and hope seems lost, turn to Spectrios Institute for Low Vision. Spectrios doctors specialize in the treatment of vision loss related to eye diseases, such as macular degeneration, glaucoma, and diabetic retinopathy. There is hope, supported by science with personalized rehabilitation plans, occupational therapies, and access technology at Spectrios. Talk to a patient service manager. They'll walk you through the program. Spectrios takes BCBS and Medicare insurance. They also have grants for qualifying patients and offer a Seeing is Believing children's outreach program. Go to spectrios.org, located in Wheaton in a building that says it all, the House of Hope. That's spectrios.org. Spectrios Institute, the head, heart, and eyes approach to better vision. Remember to keep Spectrios Institute, a 501c, in your estate or legacy planning.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
So there's a member at a club that I belong to who is also a member. This is a pretty quick one, actually. Who's also a member at a club in Fort Myers.
Okay, which isn't far away. Right?
Southwest Florida, right. Mm-hmm. So he had a house on the course on this club that he belongs to in Fort Myers.
So we're not using names of clubs, I take it?
I don't want to give too much away.
Okay, all right.
I guess
so.
I
We have a
could
club
say
in. Well, no, we'll just keep it simple. We have a club in Naples, and we have a club in Fort Myers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And he has a house on the club in Naples.
He has a house on the club in Fort Myers.
Okay, got it.
Or he did.
Oh no.
Because he got divorced.
Oh.
Okay, that's fine. And so he, part of the divorce settlement, the wife gets the house on this course in Fort Myers.
Are kids involved?
I don't know all those details.
Okay.
That's much less important than what I'm about to tell you next.
Okay.
So
they get divorced.
She had a restraining order against him.
Oh.
You know, these things happen in divorces.
No, I know. Divorces are so ugly, and people allege things that aren't true sometimes just for spite.
Yeah.
And they're angry, and they do things out of character because you've never been through a situation like that before.
Right. That's a voice of experience speaking.
You damn right it is.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Darn right. Is that?
No, you can say damn. It's fine. We're
I'm
talking
getting
about
a
divorce.
potty mouth lately.
Yeah,
I
we
don't
can
know
talk
what's
about
wrong
divorce.
with
It gets a little chippy. I get it. So he gets divorced. There's a restraining order that's in force. And she has the house on the course in Fort Myers. So he can't play the ninth hole on the course that he belongs to.
Because the house is on the ninth hole.
Right. And it's within the radius of the order of protection.
Oh, no.
So,
oh my God! Well,
he belongs to a club, and by the way, this just in. Apparently, it was not an amicable divorce. In case the order of protection didn't tip it off, the fact that she would actually seek to enforce it such that he couldn't play a full round of golf at the club that he belongs to, where his former home is situated, that you have to skip from 8 to 10. I mean, I've never heard
or can he play number
like
8
that.
Twice?
Well, yeah, but the guys you're playing with probably don't want to play number 8 twice.
Well, wait. Then how does he? I mean,
he has a 17-hole handicap, or at least he did for a time.
Wait. So then when he's done with the 8th, how does he
apparently
just
he has to go?
cuts over?
Apparently he has to go right to 10 or right to jail. One of the two.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. You can also reach us on our text line anytime with your bad divorce stories at 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment.
I mean, that's just one of the great. I've never heard of something. I mean, it's not big financial this or whatever. I've just never heard of something so petty as that. And I don't know the backstory on the order of protection and what the allegations but I mean.
Well, did she purpose? Here's the thing. Do we know she purposely did this so that he couldn't play the 9th hole?
No, but I mean, I have no idea. But the fact that was the effect, and the fact that she had to be serious enough about its enforcement to execute the order of protection if he was on the 9th fairway and was in the range, and she's on the phone to Fort Myers local. So, I mean, I guess we were talking about this with somebody too. It's like, I guess, he'd probably want to, like, if you're playing a money game or you're in a match, I bet for the time, now this is no longer in force. I think he can play 9 again.
Okay.
So a full 18 at this club. But, I mean, if you're like in a match or you're playing for money, you want to start at 10 because you need to try to close out before you get around. Because otherwise you start out down 1, basically. Yeah.
That is a good reason why Dan Proft is single.
It really is. I mean, that's just, you pay for a house on the course, you pay for this club, you're still a member of the club, you give the house as part of the settlement, and then you can't even, I mean, and then it's not that the house isn't enough of a reminder of things going sideways, but now I can't even play.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer.
Your show keeps me alive during the week. There's nobody I'd rather listen to between 5 and 9 in the morning than you guys.
On AM 560, The Answer.
In theaters now, Reagan returns to office.
We are the greatest country in the world. We have just forgotten.
You can run from a bully for so long, but after a while, you're going to have to stand up to him. I am about to start the biggest war of this century.
You told me you wanted to make a difference in this world.
What would you have me do?
I want you to fight!
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Reagan, in theaters now. Rated PG-13, may not be suitable for children under 13.
If you're looking for a caring dentist and an experienced dental staff who'll treat you like family, then it's time to call Dr. Y at Oak Lawn Dental LLC. Dr. Yorks and his team will create a smile that you'll want to share with family and friends. Go to oaklawndentist.com for a complete list of services or call Oak Lawn Dental for an appointment with Dr. Y at 708-424-5700. And for a limited time, get a $100 credit on your new account. Call 708-424-5700. Oak Lawn Dental LLC for the smile you deserve.
This is Albert Mohler for townhall.com. The Supreme Court of the United States just hit the pause button on the Biden administration's enforcement of proposed changes to Title IX in the schools. The 3-page unsigned opinion blocks the Biden administration from enforcing the so-called expanded protections for transgender students, and that means the states have now at least a temporary authority to fight back against the Biden administration's radical rule changing the definition of sex and gender in the 1972 law. Now, we should note that there are already cases related to this redefinition of sex advancing through different levels of the federal courts. What we're looking at is a looming challenge for America's families, for America's churches, and frankly, for all who resist the gender revolution and the transgender confusion. It's another reminder of what's at stake in the 2024 presidential election. You can count on all this being pushed if Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are elected president and vice president, respectively. That's why the LGBTQ movement is so excited about them.
Are you a business owner with a strategic mission, a drive to succeed, and a plan for growth, but you just need the right bank? Hi, Mike Gallagher here, letting you know that Signature Bank is all about going the distance for commercial banking customers. It's what Signature Bank does every day. Their team understands that accessibility is key to their culture. In times like these, you want a bank that is there for you to weather the bad times and capitalize on the good. And with Signature Bank by your side, you can't go wrong. It's a true partnership. That's why Signature Bank in Chicago is my bank. That's right, I'm a customer. I believe in what they have to offer, from innovative tech and customized solutions to help your business grow and thrive. Reach out to my friends at Signature Bank. Call 773-467-5630, 773-467-5630, or visit them online at signaturebank.bank. That's signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank makes commercial banking personal. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
From breaking news and weather across the country to insight from the brightest minds in conservative opinion, it's Salem News Channel. Home to the biggest shows on TV, like Dennis Prager, weekdays at noon Eastern, followed by Jay and Jordan Sekulow at 2. Join SNC, where facts are sacred, critical thinking is celebrated, and the pursuit of truth is unwavering. Watch Salem News Channel free now on Xumo Play. Learn more at snc.tv/Xumo. It's news, opinion, and insight at the speed of your life. Streaming at 560theanswer.com on the AM 560 mobile app, or tell your smart speaker to play The Answer Chicago.
59 degrees, 5:30 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Demonstrators set off smoke bombs at a protest in New York City Monday as they demanded a ceasefire in Israel's war against Hamas terrorists in Gaza. However, in Israel, memorial services were held for one of the 6 Israeli hostages killed last weekend. Fox's Trey Yingst has more from Tel Aviv.
Hamas released a statement from their military spokesman, Abu Abaida, saying that militants guarding the hostages in Gaza had been given new instructions about what to do if Israeli forces approach. They insinuated that more hostages would be killed if the IDF tries to rescue them. Now, the statement came after the funeral was held for American citizen Hirsch Goldberg Poland in Jerusalem. Thousands of people lined the streets to pay their respects as his parents eulogized their son. Once again, Hamas tried to pressure Israel during this time by releasing a new video showing the hostages alive.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu pushed back against pressure for a new ceasefire deal, demanding Israel maintain control of a narrow corridor of land between Gaza and Egypt in an effort to halt weapons smuggling done by Hamas for years. President Biden used Labor Day to make his first joint appearance on the campaign trail with Vice President Kamala Harris since exiting the 2024 race.
She has a backbone like a ramrod. And she has the moral compass of a saint. This woman knows what she's doing. Folks, I promise you, if you elect Kamala Harris as president, it'll be the best decision you will have ever made.
Speaking at a union rally in Pittsburgh, Biden focused on pro-labor policies. Vice President Harris continues her appeal to American union workers.
Joe Biden has always stood with the workers of America and labor unions of America. Always.
Former President Trump, in a Labor Day message, blasted Harris, claiming that all Americans are suffering due to her failed leadership. He cited high gas prices, transportation costs, and grocery prices, especially over the holiday weekend. Some hotel workers around the country could be going back to work today after their union and hotel companies failed to reach a contract deal and they walked off the job Sunday.
We're here to get better benefits, better pension, so I could retire, hopefully, soon.
Around 10,000 people hit the picket lines in places like San Francisco, Seattle, and Boston. The strike, authorized for 3 days in some places, was called during the high Labor Day holiday travel period. The San Francisco 49ers NFL club placing rookie wideout Ricky Pearsall on the non-football injury list after he was shot and badly hurt in the chest over the weekend during a robbery attempt in San Francisco. Pearsall will miss at least the first 4 games of the season as he recovers. And this morning, possession of hard drugs is once again a crime in Oregon, as the state's decriminalization experiment officially ended over the weekend. Portland police say those caught with hard drugs now will be handcuffed while officials check for any outstanding warrants. One person is in custody after 4 sleeping passengers were shot and killed on a CTA Blue Line train in west suburban Forest Park. Forest Park Deputy Chief Chris Chin.
This, obviously is shocking. It is uncommon, to have a mass shooting like this, especially this close to home.
4 were found shot inside of the train. Forest Park Mayor Rory Hoskins.
It's a horrible tragedy that 4 people are dead on Labor Day weekend. Our police department and our fire department respond to this location probably more than any other location in our jurisdiction.
Chicago police located the suspect on a CTA Pink Line train, and a firearm was recovered. The case remains under investigation. No suspects in custody after 3 men were shot on Chicago's far south side. Police say the shooting happened yesterday near 123rd and Emerald. Unofficially, 6 were killed, 28 wounded in long Labor Day holiday weekend shootings. Since Memorial Day, the unofficial start of summer, Chicago has seen over 215 homicides and 930 shot. Cubs blow a late 3-run lead in a 5-3 loss to the Pirates. Cubs remain 3.5 back of the final NL wildcard spot. White Sox lost to Baltimore 13-3. The news is a service of Blue Stars Security. Support our police and hire the police to personally protect you and your business. Visit online at bluestarsecurityllc.com. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Donald Trump and Kamala Harris will meet on the debate stage for the first time on September 10th. And AM 560 is throwing a debate watch party, and we want you to join us. Join Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, Sean Thompson, and fellow AM 560 listeners on Tuesday, September 10th at Moretti's Unique Events in Hoffman Estates for a buffet dinner, followed by the debate. Tickets are on sale now at 560theanswer.com/debate. That's 560theanswer.com/debate.
This is Sean Thompson. When you go on vacation, does it make sense to have somebody else pack for you? Of course not. The same can be said for your retirement. Your 401k could be packed with things you don't know about or even need. If you're close to retirement, but you don't have a plan customized to your goals, it's like kind of taking a 30-year vacation with no idea what's in the suitcase. Sounds like a stressful way to begin what should be a relaxing time. Tom Fortino at Alpha Wealth Group can help you unpack your savings and build a plan to reduce future taxes, address Social Security and healthcare, and a whole lot more, all with a clear, defined income strategy. Call the Alpha Wealth Group at 630-934-1855. Ask for the complimentary retirement plan. That's 630-934-1855 or online at alphawealthgroup.com. And listen to the Alpha Wealth Hour Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. right here on AM 560.
Advisory services through Retirement Wealth Advisors, LLC, and SEC Registered Investment Advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Alpha Wealth Group, licensed in Illinois.
This is Albert Mohler for townhall.com. The Supreme Court of the United States just hit the pause button on the Biden administration's enforcement of proposed changes to Title IX in the schools. The 3-page unsigned opinion blocks the Biden administration from enforcing the so-called expanded protections for transgender students, and that means the states have now at least a temporary authority to fight back against the Biden administration's radical rule changing the definition of sex and gender in the 1972 law. Now, we should note that there are already cases related to this redefinition of sex advancing through different levels of the federal courts. What we're looking at is a looming challenge for America's families, for America's churches, and frankly, for all who resist the gender revolution and the transgender confusion. It's another reminder of what's at stake in the 2024 presidential election. You can count on all this being pushed if Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are elected president and vice president, respectively. That's why the LGBTQ movement is so excited about them.
It's the perfect blend of flavor and heat. Frank's Red Hot. I put that on everything.
5:38. Let's get a look at the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center Time, a service of Crosscom Public Adjusters. They've helped thousands. Crosscom will help you get what you need and have coming to you. Crosscom Public Adjusters.com. Kennedy, 21, O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange. We'll start the work week for most of us at 26 minutes inbound on the Stevenson, 355 into DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Bishop Ford jamming into the Ryan merge. They've just pulled a disabled vehicle, clearing that from the exit ramp westbound Jane Addams to northbound Lee Street. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast. Mostly sunny and nice. High 78 today. Clear and 59 overnight. It's 59 right now at O'Hare, 61 at Midway, and 51 in Aurora. Your next news update is at 6, and Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer.
Have you ever smoked?
I have.
Okay.
And I inhale. I did inhale.
On AM 560.
I think that it gives a lot of people joy, and we need more joy.
We need more joy in this world.
All right, welcome back from the 3-day Labor Day weekend. Amy Jacobson here.
Hey.
Hi. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Good. I'm so glad you're here.
Got some sleep last night.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Good. Your monitor's kind of high. I can't see.
I
wait.
don't know why the chair just sunk down. I mean, I'm lost weight, so I don't know why.
Oh, let me see. Let me take a little look.
I'm still under 250.
Good for you. You're under 250?
I'm maintaining it, and I'm trying to, I want at least 10, 15 more pounds.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good for you.
My gut's going down,
Oh, I love when that happens. You can tie your shoes now.
I can see my.
You can see your feet.
Yeah.
Did you have a show this weekend, or were you?
No, I did not have a show this weekend because of the holidays.
The holidays.
Yeah.
Could you spend time with your family?
Yeah, we did. I've had two of my girls' birthdays. One was August 29th, and she turned 22, my oldest. And then my 18-year-old, she's now 18 years old.
Wow.
My daughter turned 18 yesterday.
Oh, my God, congratulations.
Yeah. So it's...
so she's an adult.
She's an adult.
You can't tell her what to do anymore.
Oh, please. Not in my house.
I know. Well, I had a good time spending a few days with my family. My mom
can't see you.
and my sisters. I know. Can you stand up?
No.
I
got a bad hip. You know that.
Demanding.
I have a really bad hip.
Yeah, so it was good to regroup and refresh and know that God is glory.
It is. That's true.
Christianity is about what?
Forgiveness.
And love.
And love. Yes.
And sometimes
that's hard.
You got to say goodbye to things you love.
Yes, that's true. And sometimes humility. A lot of people when they say I want to do all this, I want to be all this, and don't realize that sometimes God will put you in places where, when you want peace, He'll teach you how to get peace, and when you need humility, He'll teach you how to go through and understand and enjoy true humility. Because sometimes humility people don't really get and understand.
Well, what do you mean? I mean,
humility. Sometimes humility and just when you ask God for something, He'll give it to you. It just may not be in the way in which you want to receive it. But when you want peace, sometimes you got to go through life storms to understand and enjoy.
How many storms do people? My divorce attorney was so funny. She called me. She goes, "Well, congratulations." She goes, "You haven't been canceled once. You've been canceled twice.
Yeah.
Way to go."
Yeah. Well, sometimes in life, especially when when God's hand is on you, sometimes you go through more than more. You go through so much more than other people because of who you are and because God knows you can handle it.
Okay.
So the enemy, it's perspective. It's about perspective.
Enemy. And can we let people know right now, doxing somebody is illegal.
It is.
It is a crime.
It is.
I spent a lot of time at the 19th district.
Wow.
Because it's stupid when your safety's at risk and your family's safety, and it's stupid. But just letting people know that is illegal, and I'm not going to take it anymore. I'm done.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
It's over.
Yes.
All right, so let's move on. So I was thinking, gosh, self-pitying. And then I woke up on Saturday morning to hear that 6 hostages were murdered.
Yes.
After sustaining 330 plus days in captivity.
Yeah, I saw that.
Their 6 bodies were found shot, execution style, in the back of the head, and there were other injuries. And there was, according to the IDF, said that they were obviously not in good condition. Some had injuries, prolonged injuries that were not attended to. But I'm talking in particular about Chicago, and his parents are from Chicago. His grandparents are still here, aunts and uncles. And that is Rachel Goldberg Poland and John and their son Hirsch.
Yes.
They have been out front and vocal the entire time.
Right.
They have never backed down. They'll go on Fox News. They'll go. They spoke at the DNC. She brought a tear to my eye. And I've always been praying for that family because they are so good. Like anybody can relate to this family. They put a face to the hostages. And he was one that was dead. He was injured too. His arm, part of his arm was blown off while they were capturing him at that Nova Music Festival.
Yeah.
And we've seen his picture. We've heard his story. They always keep the tape, the masking tape with a number of days on their chest.
Right.
And he was one that was found dead.
And that's I made a post.
Not dead.
I said
he was murdered.
He was murdered. He wasn't.
Because CNN's headline was he's dead. No. Their first headline was that Hirsch Goldberg Poland had died.
Oh no!
Instead,
He's
and then
murdered.
somebody changed it. No, he was murdered.
Yeah,
he was brutally
Big
murdered
time.
after being tormented.
Yes.
For 300 plus days. And here's his mother at his funeral.
I have had a lot of time during the past 332 days to think about my sweet boy, Hirsch. And one thing I keep thinking about is how out of all of the mothers in the whole entire world, God chose to give Hirsch to me. What must I have done in a past life to deserve such a beautiful gift?
One of the most fitting posts I saw about Hirsch yesterday was the one that said, Yehi Zichro Mahapecha. May his memory be a revolution.
Not a dry eye. And I listened to their whole eulogy of their son.
The most common word that I've received from people, thousands of messages, is slicha. I'm sorry. Hirsch, we failed you. We all failed you. You would not have failed you. You would have pushed harder for justice. You would have worked to understand the other, to bridge differences.
Hirsch, for all these months, I have been in such torment and worry about you for every single millisecond of every single day. Now I no longer have to worry about you. I know you are no longer in danger. You are with beautiful honor. He will show you around. You will hopefully meet my grandparents who will adore you. I pray that your death will be a turning point in this horrible situation in which we are all entangled. If there was something we could have done to save you and we didn't think of it, I beg your forgiveness. We tried so very hard, so deeply and desperately. Finally, my sweet boy, finally, you're free.
312-642-5600.
Yeah. And they're close. They were originally from Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Hirsch's grandparents, both sides, still live here.
Wow.
And his aunts and uncles. And they've been vocal to local media, too, about, don't forget about us.
Right.
Because Biden and Harris, I felt like they forgot about us. And guess the us is there's 101 hostages that remain. Guess how many are Americans? Or American citizens?
30-something.
7. I mean, but there's 7.
Yeah.
What are their names?
Wow.
We knew who Hirsch was.
Right.
Because his parents did an excellent job advocating for him and for the other hostages. Wow. But now we need another family to step up.
Yeah. Who will that be?
I don't know. Or they can keep the fight going.
Right.
Which I think that they should because they're wonderful communicators and people know them and everybody loves them. It doesn't matter if you're a Republican, Democrat, Independent, Green Party. I think that the world has wrapped themselves around this family.
Yeah. And now they're trying to put the blame on Benjamin Netanyahu.
Yeah, well, 800,000 labor workers walked off the job in solidarity. You know, like they want a ceasefire.
Correct.
They want it to stop now.
But
And
how can you have a ceasefire when the opposite side is not being truthful and they can't be trusted? I mean, 6 people died and killed. And
Murdered.
You murdered,
Yeah.
right, murdered, and you want to continue to push a
Well,
ceasefire?
Hamas admitted that, you know, they had admitted to the killings and said that they're going to shoot others if IDF attempts to rescue others.
Yeah.
Because they claim that this happened because one man, a father of 11, was rescued in that Rafah tunnel nearby, and that scared them or spooked them, and then they immediately executed 6 people.
Right.
Because of that, just to send a warning message. But they killed an American.
Yes. That's
An
enough
American,
for me.
and that's exactly 312-642-5600 turnkey.pro answer line. They took the protest, the fury, to BBB's house,
Right.
and basically all over Israel.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, it was a massive protest. So Benjamin Netanyahu.
I was asked whether I'm not doing enough to the release of hostages. Well, I want to set the record straight. On April 27th, Secretary of State Blinken said that Israel made an extraordinarily generous offer for a hostage deal. On May 31st, Israel agreed to a U.S.-backed proposal. Hamas refused. On August 16th, Israel agreed to what the United States defined as a final bridging proposal. Hamas refused again. On August 19th, Secretary Blinken said, Israel accepted the U.S. proposal. Now Hamas must do the same. On August 28th, that's 5 days ago, Deputy CIA Director said that Israel shows seriousness in the negotiations. Now Hamas must show the same seriousness.
Agree.
I want to ask you something. What has changed in the last 5 days? What has changed? One thing. These murderers executed 6 of our hostages. They shot them in the back of the head. That's what's changed. And now after this, we're asked to show seriousness? We're asked to make concessions? What message does this send Hamas? It says, kill more hostages, murder more hostages, you'll get more concessions. The pressure internationally must be directed at these killers, at Hamas, not at Israel. We say yes, they say no.
I have to tell you, who is advising Governor Tim Walz? He was at the Minnesota State Fair for about a half hour. I don't know if you've ever been there, but you know,
No.
the place to go in Minnesota. I've been there a few times. And yeah, response to the 6 hostages killed, 1 an American. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
What's your reaction to the 6 hostages being found in Gaza?
Thanks, everybody.
Wow.
As he walks away while he's licking his ice cream.
Wow.
I mean, would it have been so hard for Tim Walz to pause and at least acknowledge the deaths of the hostages and give condolences to the family? Would that have been so difficult? Not even. I mean, he didn't even give a political statement. He just went like this, started licking his ice cream, and walked away.
How about just acknowledge the American that was killed?
Right.
Just acknowledge the American. And acknowledge that person so the people of Israel, the Jewish people here in our country know that you're with them. Acknowledge that. You know, that's why the American media is trying to frame this as a Israel-Palestinian war. No, this is the state of Israel against terrorists, Hamas, and all of the ilk that are out there like them. That's what we're up against. And speak to that to the American people. I have yet to hear that from that side of the aisle.
312-642-5600. Let's go to Kip in Stillman Valley. Good morning, Kip.
Glad to hear you're both in today. And listen, man, that is exactly why I had called. I am just livid. Netanyahu has never changed his stance on the protection of his people and the state of Israel against this evil, regime of terrorists over there. Iran is the main culprit. But listen, It is the news media that I'm just even more than nothing but lies and lies about
we're
Israel.
familiar with Israel and other things, yes.
Yeah. True.
And just everything that is so wrong with our world is coming from these people. And to use that great family that just lost their son and use them at the DNC and seeing it. Every newscast on every station using that family for them to go and support the terrorists, the Hamas. You can't tell me that they're not.
Right.
It is all upside down. It's been upside down for years, what's going on in this world. And people better wake up. Wake up. All right.
Thank you,
Keep
Kip.
praying.
Yep.
Keep praying.
Thank you. Thanks, Kip. Let's go to Joe in East Dundee. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, Amy and John.
Hey,
they killed an American. We have 2 aircraft carriers off the coast. This could be solved in 24 hours. You know, you either
Oh, yeah, but you don't want to piss
Ameri-
off the Palestinians because then they're not going to vote for you.
Hey,
Who cares at this point?
you know what
They
did Jimmy
care.
Carter go through? Amy, come on. now.
Yeah, I know.
You
The
know,
day
they
Reagan
dragged our,
was elected,
soldiers
they released the hostages. I
Iran.
remember it well.
Come on.
Yes.
You know, I was there as a kid, but you know that this could simply be solved, but yet for some reason they refuse to do it. You know, and it's like I don't know.
They don't want to get involved, but
Yeah.
we want to get involved in every other war. All right, Joe, thank
They
you.
don't have to. They don't have to get involved. They don't need boots on the ground. We have 2 aircraft carriers there. You release our American citizens, we're going to mess you up.
Right.
Yep.
You know.
See, Amy.
Thank you, Joe.
Amy,
Appreciate
I
the
don't.
phone call.
I really don't care about that. That there's an election coming up. I do understand why they wouldn't do it. The escalation of the war in the Middle East if America did send boots on the ground. I mean, now Iran is totally in. I mean, even though they're the ones behind the October 7 massacre.
Right.
You know, a lot of people are not. I mean, shut down anything that's doing with anywhere the Muslim Brotherhood, anywhere that Hamas, anywhere that any of these terrorists are, that country, shut them completely down. I'm sorry, I don't care because they killed an American citizen. That's enough.
And there's
for me.
7 still out there.
Yes. Yes.
Gosh, I just remember when I was a little kid, I was a bit of a news nerd, and I would sit with my recorder and record Ronald Reagan always talking about the hostages.
Yeah, that
'Cause
movie.
my Sunday school teacher was from Iran, and it was just so I'd always watch, and we knew their names,
Right.
and it was daily coverage,
Yeah.
and this nothing.
If you haven't seen the movie Reagan, I'm telling you, I got a chance to see an early version of it, and I'm going to go to the theaters to see it again. It was just a reminder of how powerful
We once
the United
were.
States we once were. You know.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Would you go to court without a lawyer when the other guy is lawyered up? Or are you going to go it alone and learn law and procedure as you go? When you have an insurance claim for your home or business, it's the same thing.
This is Dan Lights from Crosscom. We inspect your property, file your claim, negotiate the damages, and maximize your settlement with your insurance company.
Insurance companies will send out their inspectors that work for them, get paid by them, and represent them. Not you.
If we complete the repairs approved by your insurance company, our service is free. Crosscom Public Adjusters has turned denied claims into approved claims. We've also increased insurance claims anywhere from 23 to 1,000%, and we could do the same for you. We are licensed by the Department of Insurance and work in Illinois, Northwest Indiana, and Southern Wisconsin. Crosscom Public Adjusters, 630-871-5500. Online at crosscominc.com. That's crosscominc.com. Crosscom, building trust for over 20 years.
Honey, have you seen our roof after that storm last night? I think we need to call someone.
Don't worry, we got the shingle company on speed dial.
But I keep hearing in the news recently how dangerous sloped roofs can be. Our home in particular has a sloped roof at its highest point.
Well, the shingle company isn't afraid of any sloped roofs. Their safety record is spotless, their warranty unmatched, and they offer a low-price apples-to-apples guarantee. Besides, it costs us nothing to get a quote.
The Shingle Company, your local roofing experts who handle even the steepest of slopes with ease. Whether it's residential or commercial roofing, they've got you covered. With 3 generations of building experience, they're also experts in siding, gutters, windows, and more.
I am so glad we called them, and I can't believe our insurance covered practically the whole project.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Plus, I love that they're proud supporters of AM 560.
Visit the Shingle Company today at shingleco.com. Again, that's shingleco.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Hey, all right, coming up on Chicago's Morning, speaking of California, public safety in San Francisco back in the spotlight. Watch out if you're a wide receiver. And Labor Day, the start of the final phase of the campaign. We'll cover it all, but now let's head into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott. You want to continue singing?
I'm just singing.
Okay.
4 sleeping passengers shot and killed on a Blue Line train in Forest Park. 3 wounded in a far south side shooting. And the Cubs collapse against the Pirates. WIND Chicago News Time, 6 o'clock.
Hamas is blaming Israel and the U.S. for the deaths of 6 hostages. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Hours after their funeral for Hirsch Goldberg Poland, the American among the 6 murdered by Hamas.
Okay, sweet boy, go now on your journey. I hope it's as good as the trips you dreamed about.
His mother, Rachel, as Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu pushes back on President Biden, saying that Netanyahu hasn't done enough to secure a ceasefire to get more hostages freed. The Prime Minister responding there in an existential war in Gaza, and no one will preach to him.
The psychological warfare of Hamas continues. Overnight, the group released a statement from their military spokesman, Abu Abaida, saying that militants guarding the hostages in Gaza had been given new instructions about what to do if Israeli forces approach. They insinuated that more hostages would be killed if the IDF tries to rescue them.
Fox's Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv after President Biden met with his hostage negotiating team. He campaigned with and for Vice President Harris in Pittsburgh, saying she'll be a good president.
And she has a backbone like a ramrod. She has the moral compass of a saint.
In a Labor Day Truth Social post, former President Trump blamed the vice president for high gas and grocery prices. An arrest warrant in Venezuela for Edmundo Gonzalez, the presidential candidate the U.S. and others claim won July's disputed election, but President Nicolas Maduro was declared the winner, prompting massive protests across Venezuela. This as the U.S. has seized President Maduro's plane.
U.S. Homeland Security agents took possession of it inside the Dominican Republic, saying the plane was purchased in violation of a Trump-era sanction and export control. The aircraft was then flown to the U.S. and is being held in Fort Lauderdale.
Fox's Eben Brown. Pope Francis has gone to the country with the world's largest Muslim population, Indonesia, to encourage harmony with Catholics. Starting the longest trip since becoming Pope, he'll also go to Papua New Guinea, East Timor, and Singapore. America's listening to Fox News.
59 degrees at 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. 1 is dead. Another badly hurt after a wrong-way crash in Arlington Heights Monday night that shut down Rand Road between Euclid and Schoenbeck Road for hours. 1 person is in custody after 4 sleeping passengers were shot and killed on a CTA Blue Line train in Forest Park. Deputy Chief Chris Chin.
This, obviously is shocking. It is uncommon, to have a mass shooting like this, especially this close to home.
Forest Park Mayor Rory Hoskins.
It's a horrible tragedy that 4 people are dead on Labor Day weekend. Our police department and our fire department respond to this location probably more than any other location in our jurisdiction.
Chicago police located the suspect on a CTA Pink Line train and a firearm was recovered. No suspects are in custody after 3 men were shot on Chicago's far south side near 123rd and Emerald. A woman is dead following a shooting on the south side. The victim was driving yesterday in the 200 block of East 57th when she was shot by someone standing near the street. A Newton County, Indiana sheriff's deputy is in critical condition, shot in a gunfight with an Illinois suspect who was fleeing police from his home state. It happened as that suspect fled into northwest Indiana Sunday night. Illinois State Police identified the suspect as 37-year-old Andrew Roselius of Clifton. Police were chasing him as he was believed to be holding someone hostage. The suspect was killed in a shooting with police. Cubs blow a late 3-run lead in a 5-3 loss to the Pirates at Wrigley Field, while the White Sox have lost 11 consecutive games for the third time this season, following a 13-3 loss to the Orioles. The news a service of Quick Delivery Service. Visit quickdelivery.com when you need same-day delivery of your routes, ground delivery when you need it from safe, licensed professionals. Go to quickdelivery.com now to schedule your delivery. And a check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
Charlie Kirk sees the impact he has on America.
If looks could kill, I would not be alive today. This program, this show, it does not just penetrate right-wing circles. It doesn't just get to swing voters. Left-wingers and left-wing activists are very, very well aware of the power of Real America's Voice, of The Charlie Kirk Show.
The Charlie Kirk Show. Afternoons at 1, right before Sebastian Gorka at 3 on AM 560. The Answer.
Well, summer's here and the weather is beautiful. Everyone has a favorite outdoor activity: golf, bike riding, bird watching, long walks. Ask 100 people, you'll get 100 answers. But if everyday aches and pains are keeping you on the sidelines, I have one answer: Relief Factor. Relief Factor is a 100% drug-free daily supplement that helps your body fight pain naturally. Developed by doctors, Relief Factor uses a unique formula of natural ingredients. It doesn't just mask pain, it helps reduce or even eliminate it. Wherever you're hurting, back, neck, joints, or muscles, in 3 weeks or less, you'll start to feel the difference all day, every day. So whatever you like to do, swimming, pickleball, hanging out in the garden, Relief Factor can help you feel good again and let you enjoy all your favorite outdoor activities all summer long. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF and save on your first order. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Fight pain naturally with Relief Factor.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-839-8484. 800-839-8484. 800-839-8484.
6:07, Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. Killdeer this morning. You have an accident at Quentin Road and Route 22. Traveling on the Ike right now, you've got an accident, right shoulder. It's on the outbound side between East Avenue and 17th. And delays building on the Kennedy inbound between Lawrence and Montrose, 30 minutes in to the Circle. Traffic, a service of Valdecas Windows for the discerning homeowner looking for high quality and professional level window replacement service. Contact Valdecas Windows, your award-winning Platinum Elite Pella certified contractor. Valdecas.com. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. Now, your official Chicagoland weather forecast in our AM 560 Weather Center, Ruth O'Brien.
Mostly sunny and nice today. A gorgeous day to be outside with high 78. Clear, starry night tonight, low 59. Sunshine all day tomorrow with high up to 84. Warm on Thursday with clouds and sunshine, high up to 86. I'm Ruth O'Brien on AM 560, The Answer.
59 at O'Hare, 61 Midway, 51 in Aurora, 50 at DuPage Airport, 64 along Chicago's Great Lakefront. And your next news update is at 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good Tuesday morning. I hope you all had a wonderful Labor Day weekend and got to celebrate yourselves for all the hard work that you do for your family, for this country, for the people that you love.
Yeah.
I know that I did. I had a great few days with my family, and that's all you really need. When things get down, you need God and family.
I'm telling
and
you.
guns.
Yeah, and good friends.
And good friends. Oh.
And good friends.
Don't make me cry.
You know,
you and I, John and Amy, the true story. About our relationship over the years.
Yeah, there's something that we say in the black church, you know, and the preacher will say God is good, so you would say all the time, God is good.
All right, let's go over it.
God is good
all the time.
And all the time,
God is good.
That's it.
Did I change my accent?
You did a little bit.
Kind of like
you did a little bit.
What Kamala Harris did? Are you ready for this?
Yeah, I heard it.
Okay. Because she wants to thank the unions. Because we've only been hearing this same jibber-jabber line repeated at every campaign stop while she was vice president, while she was running back in 2016?
2020.
Yeah, 2020, sorry.
Yeah.
And, oh, wait, how many votes did she get?
0.
Oh, right, that's right, because she dropped out before the Iowa caucuses because she was polling at 1%. This woman's never got a vote. All right.
You better thank a union member for the 5-day work week. You better thank a union member for sick leave. You better thank a union member for paid leave. You better thank a union member for vacation time.
Okay, where was she at when she was speaking like that?
That was Detroit.
Okay.
Now, I lived there for 2 years and 2 days, and I don't recall running into anybody who spoke like that.
No.
Meanwhile, 5 hours later, here she is in Pittsburgh. Same line, different accent.
Thank unions for sick leave. Thank unions for paid family leave. Thank unions for your vacation time.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro. Answer line 646. Oh, no, I'm sorry. 642-5600. Also, you could text us on that same line. I know. I see it right there. Thank you. But
okay.
This is, and we know Hillary Clinton has done this before.
You still in my thunder.
Well, what was Hillary Clinton's line?
I ain't no ways tied, and she got hot sauce. She carries hot sauce in her purse. You know what?
She carries what?
Hot sauce in her purse. Oh. Remember? I mean, they all, you know, I don't know what it is about Democrats and hot sauce. And greens, cooking. I mean, preparing greens in the tub with Tabasco sauce and a bit of garlic. Listen. My wife makes greens. My grandmother, I grew up eating greens, collard greens, turnips, slick mustards. I mean, I ain't never seen my grandmother make them in the bathtub. Now my little ghetto-ness comes out every now and again.
Okay, but you let it fly.
But see, this is what I'm talking about. This is why black people are waking up, because they see. I mean, you look at this and you think listen, all black people don't talk like that. They don't drop all their G's. You know, come on. This is why black people are awakening, especially the black women. You had all these people on Twitter, and the Trump campaign just came out, I'm not with her. They're waking up because they're sick and tired of Democrats speaking down to them. Listen, black people, we're powerful. We do great things. And I'm trying not to say something.
No, say it.
But this is why I think Kamala Harris will not get nowhere near the amount of support from black people that Joe Biden and Barack Obama received. she will not receive nowhere near that amount. Watch.
And she makes just stupid. I mean, these aren't even declarative statements. This is just putting words together.
We have dreams. We can see what is possible, unburdened by what has been.
What the hell does that mean?
She brought that back again.
Unburdened
by what has been.
What does that mean?
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro. Answer line. Let's go to Bob in Buffalo Grove. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, Amy. Thanks for taking my call, getting back to me, and good to hear you, John.
Hey, buddy.
Don't forget, when we fight, we win.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's the campaign of joy and vibes.
Going back to your previous segment with regards to Hamas, I caught most of the translated speech by Netanyahu, and I got a little bit educated on what's going on in history there and the border. Nobody's talking about the Philadelphia line. That was repeatedly mentioned during his speech and address. Are you aware of the Philadelphia line?
No, go ahead.
Please.
Tell.
The Philadelphia line is the border between Gaza and the Sinai.
Oh.
And all the missiles and all the hardware is coming in through Sinai.
Okay.
So that begs the question, where does Egypt fit into this picture? With all the armament that Hamas is getting, it's coming in through the Philadelphia line, which is the border between Sinai and Gaza. And I wonder if into the future how that will be fortificated or what they're going to do with regards to preventing armaments coming in, because this is not going to end.
No, we know that. All right, thanks, Bob.
And so how are they going to stop it? You guys have a great week and a good show.
Thank you. Bob was one segment too late.
He was. You can't negotiate with terrorists.
No, you can't.
Never.
It's never going to.
Especially people that want to see your demise.
Right. So Labor Day is behind us, and now we start the final phase of the campaign. So Kamala Harris was there with Governor Walz, Tampon Tim, as we call him. I like that. What do you call him?
Tim Walz.
I can't. He is. Oh, it's going to come out. Bite my tongue. And guess who was there? President Biden. He besmirched his character, and he is the president of the United States. He introduced her.
Yeah.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah.
And that is what you call weird.
Yeah. Yeah. No, we're weird.
Well, he looks so weak. I mean, he's been on vacation for 42% of his time.
Yeah, he's on there now.
In Oval
16
Office.
days, right?
Well, yeah, he was in California and then in Delaware, and sitting at the beach while American hostages were murdered.
Yeah.
Not a care in the world.
Come off that beach.
But he was up there last night in Philadelphia or Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Are you ready for this?
I am.
This is another fabulous Joe story. Hunker down, everybody.
Uh-oh.
It's Molly McGuire.
I remember when my great-grandfather was only the second Catholic elected statewide to the state Senate here in Pennsylvania. And I remember they talked about when they're running against him in 1906, they said, guess what? They said, he's a Molly McGuire. You know what a Molly McGuire was? Well, those of you who don't, a Molly McGuire, back in the old days, when we Irish and the Catholics came, and then the Poles and others that were Catholic, when they came to the United States of America in the beginning of the 1840s, and late 1840s, they made their way down into Pennsylvania. A lot of them, and there's a tier in the coal mines. Those guys who got there last ended up being the last people in the coal mines. But a lot of the English owned the coal mines, and what they did was they'd really beat the hell out of the mostly Catholic population that was in the mines. Not a joke. Not a joke. But there was a group that called the Molly McGuires. And the Molly McGuires, if they find out the foreman who was taking advantage of an individual, and they'd literally kill him.
Come on.
Not a joke. And they'd bring his body up and put him on the doorstep of his family. Kind of crude. But I got to admit, they accused my great-grandfather of being a Molly. He wasn't. But we were so damn disappointed.
What?
No, that's a joke. That's a joke. Look.
The whole time, Kamala Harris, who I find her repulsive, but the whole time when I was watching her, she was just thinking, God, please stop talking.
Word in tarnation. What in Quentin Tarantino is going on here? You know, Quentin Tarantino has some weird movies. It's like, what in Quentin Tarantino?
So now wait, what do we have? His best friend is Corn Pop. Was it his great uncle or his uncle who was cannibalized?
Oh, yeah. I know his uncle, some uncle or something like that. Yeah.
And now you have his grandpa, who was a Molly McGuire, which basically your grandpa was a murderer.
Yeah.
You just admitted that.
And he went swimming with black kids.
Oh, that's right.
Don't forget about that one.
Oh my God. Well, don't forget about little Timmy. Little Timmy had to come forward and make a horrible accusation. Are you ready for this? Tim Waltz just claimed that President Trump wants forced child labor. Do you know about that one?
What?
Yeah.
Forced?
Forced child labor.
Yeah.
Somebody said, what's next? Child labor? Hell yeah, it's in there. That's what they've got in there.
In what?
You see states doing that, putting our children at risk. That's what they'll do.
Is he alluding to Project 2025?
Yes.
See, anytime I hear them speak on Project 2025, Amy, I've actually read it, all 922 pages. It took me 3.5 days to finish that reading.
What does it say about child labor?
And there's absolutely nothing in there about child labor. Nothing about divorcing. Nothing about Amy. And they've been doing this for years. Reagan took some of their recommendations. President Trump took some of their recommendations. Not all of them. If Project 20, I stand with Project 2025. Some of it I agree with. Some of it I don't. 90+% of it I agree with. If you want to see the republic restored, implement some of the things that Project 2025. Because basically what it's after is this overspending. You know, because that's what we do. As soon as we see money, let's spend it. Ooh, squirrel. Oh, spin it. Squirrel.
Lamp.
That's what we do. You know, that's what it's about. Streamlining and making government efficient the way it once was. You know, before we had $1 trillion deficits. So go read it for yourself and stop listening to these people who have not read it.
Of course they haven't read it.
Even the people and the people who have actually read it will see that it's not what it's saying. Go to Project 2025 on X. And they lay out. I've interviewed somebody from Heritage Foundation about this.
Okay.
Why
did
not
they
what
put it
they're
out
saying
in the first place? Like,
because you
I'm
know,
just curious.
Because most people. Why did they do? They've been doing it. They've been doing it for decades. And this came out 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago.
Project 2025.
Project 2025 has been sitting for at least a year 18 months at least. And Heritage Foundation does this right before a presidential election. Guess what? Cato, Brookings, all these other think tanks. Because that's what it is. It's a think tank. It's a they come up with all these different ideas of how to make at least from Heritage Foundation. Mm-hmm. How do we streamline and make government efficient again? That's all the Project 2025 is about. It's not about getting rid of the Department of Education. That's been a dream since Ronald Reagan. That's been a dream to get rid of it. Education doesn't belong to the feds. It belongs to the states and to the parents. That's where education belongs.
You know who I saw yesterday?
Who?
Education Secretary Miguel Cardona.
Really? Where?
He was at O'Hare, wearing a white shirt, flip-flops, shorts, and had a Chicago police guard with him, or a police officer. Yeah, walking through O'Hare, Terminal 3. And I wanted to yell to him, hey, yo! Because I've met him before, and I've interviewed him before.
Yeah.
There's nothing going on upstairs.
Really?
Oh, it was...
Wait, you interviewed him before. Where was he then?
He was driving around in a Let's Get Back to School bus through Chicago on a day where 11,522 kids, not that I was counting, were kept out of school because of close contact because of COVID. So I went, like, what are we celebrating here? Do you know that 11,500 blah, blah, blah kids aren't in school? They don't have COVID, but they were near somebody who had COVID. So remember the stupid 5-day or 10-day isolation period?
I do.
All that hell they put us through for no reason.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, so that's when I met him, and he just mumbled his way out of it.
Wow.
And spun. I mean, maybe he's smart. I don't know. But I was not impressed, I can tell you that. Let's go to, Craig in Mount Greenwood. Good morning. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Oh, hey. Good morning, John and Amy. Real good to hear you guys in that. Hey, on this topic with Harris and all this kind of thing, now I've caught a couple things that I'm trying to figure out where they're pronouncing Harris's name Kamala, and then Biden gets on there, and she's got a backbone like a ramrod and everything like that. I'm thinking, is there some innuendos or something with this Biden or something like this with her name and her ramrod and all that stuff? Or what's going on with all of that?
I didn't even know he understood the word ramrod. I mean,
the ramrod and then pronounce her name Kamala, like her stage name or something like that, or whatever the thing is.
Yeah.
There's some. I think there's some innuendos going on there.
All right. Well, he's really thought about that, huh?
Right.
Deep thoughts with Craig from Mount Greenwood.
I see somebody said that Biden never said, and I'm talking about the pool when they rubbed his hairy legs.
Mm-hmm.
When remember?
Oh,
Biden
no, I
said
remember.
that. Somebody said he never swam. That's what I was talking about. That's what I was alluding to, the pool.
What do you mean? He never swam?
I don't know if he swam, but
he
he
was
there.
a lifeguard.
That's right. He was a lifeguard. Yeah.
And Corn Pop was there.
Yeah.
And the black kids wanted to play with his curly blonde hair on his legs.
That's what I was alluding to. So whoever sent that.
Did we ever find Corn Pop?
I'm sure.
It's such a great street name.
It's a
for somebody.
Figment of his imagination, I'm sure.
He's out of his mind.
Yeah.
The fabulous Joe Biden. Bill in LaSalle County are on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning, Amy. Good morning, John.
Hey, buddy.
One thing you got to remember is how many hundreds of thousands of children that have been lost that have come over the border that have been sold into sex slaves or other job exploitation. So the only party that's currently taking, exploiting children for both jobs and sex slaves is the Democratic Party under the Harris-Biden administration.
Yeah. Oh, there's 300,000 plus missing kids.
Yeah.
And nobody cares about it.
Yeah.
Nobody talks about it. It's just.
It's worse than that, Amy.
You think?
It's worse than that. Like I said, I hope I can get my buddy on tomorrow, Chris Baker from Inc. 180, and talk about what happened at the DNC. I don't want to give it away now, but the work that was done at the DNC, it's going to blow your mind when you hear about what was actually transpiring during the Democrat National Convention.
Sex trafficking going on?
Sex trafficking.
During the DNC?
During the DNC.
Here in Chicago,
obviously. And I was at church Sunday, and I hadn't seen him in a long time, and I see him. I'm leaving church, and I see him come walking in with Randy Jones, who's a tender at the church. And he looks great, Chris Baker, by the way. And I said, Chris, and he comes to the car. He said, John, you got to have me on sometime. Wait till we talk. I want to talk about what happened at the DNC with the work he did, because he removes tattoos from sex trafficked victims. Actually, that was my bill that I passed in the General Assembly that allowed kids, because if you were under 18, you couldn't go into a tattoo shop without parental permission. Well,
right.
These sex trafficked victims don't have parents. So we came together and created this bill that allowed the kids to go in there to get these tattoos covered up.
So they're tattoos with the
pimps,
with their
insignia.
Pimps?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Barcodes. It could be something about a pimp that he brandishes a child or a boy, girl. And when you hear some of the stories of some of the people, because he works with Homeland and FBI, and they come and bring them there to have these tattoos covered up. Chris has a whole ministry. He did a documentary and everything about it. I really don't think people really understand the sex trafficking problem and challenges that are happening here in America. It's a billion-dollar operation, multi-billion-dollar operation, and we need to end it.
And we're going to try and effort him for tomorrow.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
Are you turning 65 and thinking about Medicare? Or are you over 65 and haven't enrolled yet because you still have coverage at work? Either way, Medicare done correctly will be the best health insurance you will ever have. Imagine having an annual deductible of only $240. There are only two good things about aging, wisdom and Medicare. But to navigate the Medicare maze properly, you need a mentor. Best part, my guidance cost you nothing. Call me. I can help.
If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Medicare, then you need a local expert on your side, your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 30-year licensed broker who's been educating our listeners for more than a decade. Steve, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
Thanks, Dan. They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551. That's 630-674-1551.
One of the most important decisions you can make as a parent is where you send your kids to school. But these days, it's never been harder to know which school is best. Public schools have changed a lot, and you might be thinking about sending your child to a private Christian school. But you also know that private school can be expensive, and in this economy, you might think it's not an option. Well, think again. With halfpriceschools.com, you can purchase tuition vouchers for half the price of normal tuition for private schools. For nearly 10 years, halfpriceschools.com has helped families from all over Chicagoland make the dream of private school a reality. And that can be the reality for you and your child, too. Just go to halfpriceschools.com, search for a private Christian school near you, and purchase a voucher. It's that easy. Visit halfpriceschools.com. That's halfpriceschools.com.
For anyone with everyday aches and pains, I've got a question. What are you missing out on? Probably a lot. So let me tell you about Relief Factor. Relief Factor is a drug-free daily supplement that helps your body fight pain naturally. It doesn't just mask pain, it helps reduce or even eliminate it. In about 3 weeks, you'll discover what it's like to feel better. Go to relieffactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF and save on your first order. That's 1-800-4RELIEF.
Hi, Eric here with Ultimate Tax Group. If you owe back taxes to the IRS or state, personal or business, my team and I want to help you take your freedom back. Call Ultimate Tax Group at 888-505-1099. We will stop or prevent bank levies or wage garnishments. We care and fight for our clients. Call us today, 888-505-1099. UltimateTaxGroup.com.
This is Sean Thompson. When you go on vacation, does it make sense to have somebody else pack for you? Of course not. The same can be said for your retirement. Your 401k could be packed with things you don't know about or even need. If you're close to retirement, but you don't have a plan customized to your goals, it's like kind of taking a 30-year vacation with no idea what's in the suitcase. Sounds like a stressful way to begin what should be a relaxing time. Tom Fortino at Alpha Wealth Group can help you unpack your savings and build a plan to reduce future taxes, address Social Security and healthcare, and a whole lot more, all with a clear, defined income strategy. Call the Alpha Wealth Group at 630-934-1855. Ask for the complimentary retirement plan. That's 630-934-1855 or online at alphawealthgroup.com. And listen to the Alpha Wealth Hour Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. right here on AM 560.
Advisory services through Retirement Wealth Advisors, LLC, and SEC Registered Investment Advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Alpha Wealth Group, licensed in Illinois.
AM 560, The Answer.
We said it was coming to Chicago. It's here. Venezuelan gangs taking over an apartment building on Martin Luther King Drive.
Oh, where?
Oh, you'll know. That's the tease.
I can't wait.
Yeah, we have the police scanner audio, and we'll speak to a Chicago do-gooder, Chris Amatori, who is housing illegals on his dime. But now let's head into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
6:31 on AM 560, The Answer. President Biden back on the campaign trail, this time for Vice President Harris. In his first joint appearance with Harris, he touted himself as the most pro-union president in history. Meantime, the vice president made a speech to steelworkers in Pittsburgh, saying she would continue major policies implemented under the Biden-Harris administration.
Building on the work of President Joe Biden and I and the work we have done in the White House, we will continue to strengthen the Affordable Care Act and make prescription drugs affordable for all Americans.
It's almost a tie in Pennsylvania between Harris and former President Donald Trump, with a slight lead for Trump according to several polls, Harris leading in others. Protesters in Israel have gathered outside of the home of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, demanding a ceasefire to free hostages held captive by Hamas terrorists. Orna Nutra is the mother of a hostage held by Hamas.
We have to keep hope, but we're skeptical. We're not seeing Hamas or Israel come to the table seriously enough or willing to sign the deal.
Thousands of mourners attended the funeral Monday for slain Israeli-American Hirsch Goldberg Poland, one of 6 held hostage and captive by terrorists whose bodies were found on Saturday. Risking arrest, Russian President Vladimir Putin made an unexpected international trip.
18 months ago, the International Criminal Court issued a warrant for Vladimir Putin's arrest over mass child abductions in Ukraine. For the first time since then, Russian President Putin's visiting a country that's a member of the court. Mongolia is duty-bound to arrest their guest, but the Kremlin says it's confident that's not going to happen. This is a country dependent on Russian fuel, energy and patronage, so instead of pulling out the handcuffs, the Mongolians have rolled out the red carpet. An honor guard welcomed President Putin to the capital, Ulaanbaatar. Jonathan Savage, Fox News.
Hotel workers in several U.S. cities may or may not be heading back to work today after walking off the job on Sunday. Today's primary day in Massachusetts. The main event, a three-way battle for the GOP nomination for U.S. Senate. Elizabeth Warren is the incumbent. Recent polls have shown the Democrat with large leads against any of the three Republican hopefuls. One person was killed in a wrong-way crash in Arlington Heights Monday night. The crash occurred on Rand Road between Euclid and Schoenbeck. One person is in custody after 4 sleeping passengers were shot and killed on a CTA Blue Line train in west suburban Forest Park. Forest Park Deputy Police Chief Chris Chin.
This, obviously is shocking. It is uncommon, to have a mass shooting like this, especially this close to home.
Chicago police located the suspect on a CTA Pink Line train nearby. A firearm was recovered. The case remains under investigation. A Newton County, Indiana sheriff's deputy is in critical condition this morning, shot in a gunfight with an Illinois suspect who was fleeing police from his home state into northwest Indiana Sunday night. Illinois State Police identified the suspect as 37-year-old Andrew Roselius of Clifton near Kankakee and say police were chasing him as he was believed to be holding someone hostage. The suspect was killed in the shooting. Cubs blow a late lead in a 5-3 loss to the Pirates, still 3.5 back of the final NL wild card spot. White Sox have lost 11 consecutive games for the third time this season, dropping one to the Orioles, 13-3. The news, a service of AlmostFreeTeeth.com. Overpaying for dental implants is over. If you have a Blue Cross Blue Shield, PPO, or FEP, you could save 90% off on average to get your smile back. Learn more and check if you qualify at AlmostFreeTeeth.com. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Donald Trump and Kamala Harris will meet on the debate stage for the first time on September 10th. And AM 560 is throwing a debate watch party, and we want you to join us. Join Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, Sean Thompson, and fellow AM 560 listeners on Tuesday, September 10th at Moretti's Unique Events in Hoffman Estates for a buffet dinner, followed by the debate. Tickets are on sale now at 560theanswer.com/debate. That's 560theanswer.com/debate.
Have you saved enough? What are you going to do with Social Security? What will your taxes look like in retirement? Scott Tucker believes retirement planning should be easy, and you should be able to get all the information you need in one place. That's why Scott created the Retirement Decoded Toolkit, a comprehensive resource for your retirement. In it, you'll find a copy of his latest book, Escape Illinois: Should I Stay or Should I Go? This book will provide insight on taxes, Social Security, income, and more. To get your free Retirement Decoded Toolkit, text KIT, K-I-T, to 847-474-3888, or go to retirementdecoded.com. Now, in addition to the book, you'll also receive resources on retirement's most common concerns. Get your Retirement Decoded Toolkit from Scott Tucker right now by texting KIT to 847-474-3888, or go to retirementdecoded.com. Investment advisory products and services made available through AE Wealth Management, LLC. A registered investment advisor, this is a paid placement.
If you have high blood pressure, you have the #1 risk factor for mortality.
Don't be a walking time bomb. Make this change and watch your blood pressure drop.
Order a 120 Life today.
Yes, 120 Life is an amazing blend of superfruit juices that can actually help lower your blood pressure.
It's been endorsed by thousands of health professionals and doesn't have the side effects of medication.
It's up to you to control your blood pressure. doctor, not Big Pharma.
Seriously, 120 Life could be the natural game changer in your life. Try it yourself risk-free with a 2-week trial pack. You've got nothing to lose but your high blood pressure.
Go to 120life.com and use promo code 560 to save 15% and get free shipping.
120 Life is so sure it can noticeably lower your blood pressure in just 2 weeks, they'll give your money back if you're not satisfied.
Order the 8-ounce drink or powdered mix. From pomegranates to cranberries, it's the delicious way to lower your blood pressure. It really works.
Go to 120life.com now. Use coupon code 560 to save 15% and get free shipping.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
6:39, Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. Eden's already jammed solid from Lake Cook Road into the junction. That's a 30-minute trip. 50 on the inbound Kennedy O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange. 55 on the inbound I-390 into the old post office. Outbound Ike still jammed up through the avenues due to an earlier accident near 17. DuSable Lakeshore Drive showing delays northbound Buckingham Fountain up to Monroe. Tri-State left lane block with a 3-vehicle accident. It's on northbound 294 between North Avenue and the Grand Avenue curve. Traffic, a service of Bank of America with powerful digital solutions for local and global businesses so you can make every move matter. bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. Bank of America NA, copyright 2024. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast. Sunny and nice, 78 today, clear and 59 overnight. 59 right now. Next news at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Good Tuesday morning. Amy Jacobson here. John Anthony.
Hey.
Filling in for Dan for the next few days. So glad to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
So what's going on in Aurora, Colorado? Apparently there are 3 buildings and this Venezuelan gang, what's their name?
I'm not going to butcher that.
I know. Trende de Agua, whatever. Okay, so there's video and it went viral of them with long arms.
Yeah.
And 9mm pistols going door to door. They're collecting rent.
Yeah.
You know, they're the boss now. And now they're trying to say, that that's not happening. Now they're shutting down those 3 buildings because they claim that there's criminal activity and there's a number of violations. Yeah. And don't listen to what the city officials in Aurora, Colorado, they're saying, no, that's fake news.
Yeah.
We have it under control. But the Americans who live in those 3 buildings were getting kicked out. And over the weekend, someone wrote SOS, like, help us, please.
Wow.
And they interviewed residents, like, where are you going to go?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Where's the state police?
Where?
If the local police won't do anything, the county sheriffs won't do anything, how about the stadies go in there and just rip them out, send them back to wherever they came from. I don't feel any which way about that. Because if they're going to come here and terrorize, they're terrorists. When you're committing acts of terror, you are a terrorist. This is who they are.
So people keep saying, oh, it's going to happen here. It's going to happen here. Well, guess what's happening here?
Unit 10-3, I'm citywide person with a gun, 6124 South King Drive. Caller says 32 Venezuelans are trespassing the building, showing guns in the courtyard, and they have motorcycles in the courtyard as well. All their walls are filled. Nothing further, zone clear.
Hey, I'm sorry, are you headed over to the shot splitter or to the 6124 on King for the migrants?
On King Drive.
All right, 10-4. If there's another available unit, arrive at 310. We had multiple calls. First with the gun, 6124 South King. Also came over to disturbance, large gathering. Could be 32 Venezuelans trespassing in the building property, showing guns in the courtyard. They have motorcycles in the courtway, all stairwells filled, and nothing further.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
How many have been arrested? I mean, we've got to investigate this further and see
It ain't gonna
what
happen
came
here.
of it. But
It won't happen here.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, okay.
And when we report on this, what do your friends say, or what?
Oh, they're upset, highly upset. I mean, far left Democrat friends of mine are not happy with this. You know, when people say to me, "Why do you need a 100-round drum?" This is the reason why. This is the reason why I should be able to buy a 100-round drum.
A Chicago police officer,
yeah,
you want to respond to that?
Yeah.
I don't think you have enough firepower to respond to that.
Yeah. Well, CPD.
You should call in the National Guard.
Yeah. CPD does.
Something should be done.
CPD is a world-class police department. Even with some of the issues that a lot of people like to point out, they still a world-class police department.
Trump's been warning us that they're emptying their prisons in Venezuela and sending them here. And even the left saying, no,
he's
that's
lying.
not true. He's lying.
Yeah, that's true.
We talked to a Venezuelan who said that, no, it's actually happening.
Yes.
And crime in Venezuela has gone down.
Yes. I've had a few Venezuelans, because I made the post about that video in Aurora, Colorado. I was told I was lying. This is fake. This is fake news. It's a deep fake or cheap fake, whatever they're calling them now. And then I had somebody who was Venezuelan say, no, this is real. This is actually happening. And now we know it's happening allegedly in Chicago as well.
All right, so here's some scenes from Aurora, Colorado.
So there are several buildings actually under the same ownership, out-of-state ownership, that have fallen to these Venezuelan gangs. I'm trying to walk it back and do the investigation as to how there's a concentration of Venezuelans in these three buildings. Somebody put them there, and somebody funded it. Whether it's federal government or not, we're trying to find out who. These gangs apparently are attracted to where there's a concentration of Venezuelan migrants, and so they've in fact have kind of pushed out the property management through intimidation and then collected the rents. We have now or have had it is ongoing operations with a task force of local law enforcement, state law enforcement partners, and federal law enforcement partners to root them out, and arrests have been made, but these operations are still ongoing.
And that is the mayor of Aurora, Colorado,
Wow.
Mike Kaufman.
Wow.
Does he sound like he's in control of the situation?
No.
Does he sound like he wants to admit what's really going on? No.
No.
Because he's a coward.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to deal with the ramifications of the problem that they started.
Is Aurora a sanctuary city, and is Colorado a sanctuary
Yes.
state?
Oh, yes. Because there are so many. I was talking to friends yesterday. Their daughter lives in Denver, and they said, it is disgusting what's going on. And all the shelters where the homeless people used to be, or those homeless people are now all out on the streets.
Yeah, but see, the thing about it, you try that in Chicago. Where was that in Chicago? That alleged call came from?
6124 South King Drive.
So that's down the street from O Block. Where the big. I see a clash happening if nothing is done, because the Chicago street folks won't take that. The Chicago street folks are not gonna allow something like that to happen, like happened in Aurora, Colorado. Chicago boys, them goons ain't gonna let that happen. They gonna come at them hard, and they better do something about that.
Civil war in the streets of Chicago.
And again, Superintendent Larry Snelling is the man for the job. What he did at the DNC, you and I talked about it. We really thought it would be like chaotic. That man put together a plan and carried it through.
Yep.
And thank God for that guy.
He did an excellent job. Yes.
Yeah.
I watched it in action.
Yes.
And I was very impressed.
Yeah.
Okay, so with more on this, I don't know who knows about this situation, but we welcome back to the program Chris Amatori. He's the Chicago do-gooder who has been putting up dozens of families. You've been paying for it yourself. Places on, I can't remember, the south side, southwest side. Chris, good morning. Welcome back to the show.
Hey, Amy. How you doing? Hey, John.
Hey, buddy.
So tell us the latest, and are you still footing the bill, or is the government paying the bill to help these migrant families?
Well, first off, I just want to say one thing I do agree with John is about Larry Snelling. He's definitely the guy for the job. He was my PT instructor when I was a Chicago police officer.
Oh, nice.
So I go way back with him. And yeah, for me, yeah, I'm still when I housed back in January the 450 migrants that were on the streets in the cold, and I still have them and everything. But then I've also housed more since, because it actually gave me an opportunity to actually understand the current situation at hand. Because it's very easy to be misguided with the media, and because I'm on the street and I see what's really happening.
Okay.
And so like basically what I learned is that okay, just try to put yourself in a Venezuelan migrant's shoes. So you wake up one morning, 2018, and everything you had saved money was inflated away because they had a horrible inflation problem. And all of a sudden, years later, the Biden administration declares Venezuela as temporary immigration status. So they're actually have an invitation to come here to work. You'll get a work visa if you can figure out a way to cross the border. So what they do is they spend their life savings, the shirt, and they come here with the shirt on their back. They have to get smuggled in here through a cartel because there's no other way to get in.
Right, and that costs thousands.
Yeah, exactly. And then the families are separated at the border. Kids, there's been tons of reports of kids being sold into sex trafficking. Then 20% of the people that get caught crossing the border, right? Because they said that's the only way to come in is illegally, in order to get their work visas. Then 20% of them get an ankle bracelet on. They get humiliated like they're criminals. And then after all these people come, and then I got involved in this in January. And in January is when they announced, okay, no one else is getting work permits after July 2023. But all the people are already here. There's already tens of thousands of people already here in Chicago now that can't get work visas.
Okay, wait, this is just for Venezuelans.
Just for Venezuelans, correct.
Okay, so wait, real quick.
I'm sure it's for other nationalities, but yeah, go ahead.
Right. Why are kids being separated from their parents at the border?
Well, I mean, because they have to cross like 6 different borders to come here.
Right.
I'm not sure why it's, when they get, like, there's detention facilities that just have kids in them, and then there's, so it's, I don't know a lot about it, but those are a lot of reports that I've been seeing that kids are being taken as they're coming across the border. That's just one thing. I don't know if that's a huge issue or not, but that is one thing that they have to deal with.
Well, Chris, with all due respect, I disagree with everything you said, and here's the reason why. Fix where you live. It's not the problem of the United States of America to bring in people who are military-aged men.
We're inviting them.
Right, and we're bringing them in, and these are people, and for anybody to say they're not clearing out their jails and sending the worst of the worst to this country, they are. And you know what? I get the sad sob story about wanting to help people, but I want to help people who actually need the help, not the people that are here to destroy our country. Guess what? I stand with Donald Trump and the mass deportation. That has to happen. Anybody that's here that's committing any crimes, anything like that, need to be deported today. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, today. Because when you come here to put terror on American citizens, I'm sorry, that means something. The way the Romans believed, how much the Roman citizenship to be an American has to mean something. And for them to come over here and to cause chaos and destruction, send them back. I don't give up.
But he's saying they're not all
I agree
creating
with that.
chaos and destruction. He's just explaining how they were invited here by the Biden
Colorado,
administration. Yes.
The stuff in Colorado is complete BS. Okay, I've looked into it, and so exactly the real situation is what's happening is, and I'm a landlord myself. I know a lot of properties, and I saw right through this BS. So what happened is the guy filled his building because he wanted to get like a free money grab because he hears that okay, you can house people and get money, this and that, and then that's what he did, and then he had all these violations on the building, and now he's saying, well, I can't fix them because there's these Venezuelan mafia there or whatever. The train
Chris, time out.
But there's video of them going
to
door
say
to
it's
door
BS.
with guns.
These idiots are producing long guns. That is actually happening. I know because I've talked to people who are there on the ground. That is not complete BS. Now, maybe this.
I read a report yesterday that the police department, they did a thorough investigation. There's no evidence of train de agua, no evidence of Venezuelan gangs. So all it is congressmen.
So
and
those
the mayor
videos
and
are a
other
lie.
people.
I mean, believe your lying eyes. I mean. So the people on the ground.
You know what happened to me, John? At the 8-unit building, I housed people. It was all over social media. They had a video. The neighbors across the street and the 7th Ward alderman together did a video and showed people going in my building, and it went viral, like millions of views.
Right.
People breaking into my building that they were taking it over.
But they didn't have long guns.
I had to go out of my way. But still, most people today think that still happened because when the news comes out, they make a big deal about it. Like in Colorado, this is what's going to happen. They're going to make a huge deal about it. Oh, my God. And then they find out that it's all BS, and then it's a one little page in the newspaper saying, oh, by the way, we were wrong about this. But everyone thinks it. I mean, I got people calling me a traitor to my country, which I love desperately, and telling me that I should have let Venezuelan kids starve in the street, you know, that I should have let them starve in the street, because that's how horrible it is. And the media, so after all this stuff that the people come here, their whole life, and then they're put in the shelters because they don't have work, then the media, which is happening right now, you know, the media demonizes them. So it's like they give everything to be here, and they get demonized, hated on. It's just
Okay.
a horrible situation.
All right. So you have some Venezuelans who were invited here by Biden with a work visa, and that ended July of 2023. So how many are you still housing? And tell us some redeeming qualities or some success stories. Are they working? Are they using this opportunity, this work visa, and are they paying rent to you?
Yes. So back in June, I decided to start charging rent. So I housed most of them in February, and then so they got them some time to get their stuff together in June. And the first month, 97% paid the rent. It's kind of drifting off a little now. Now it's at like 91%. And, you know, I'm not charging them anything crazy, but just because, you know, I've received no assistance from the government. And that's how, like, anyone who came here after July 2023 doesn't really get any help, you know, but everyone thinks that they're living in the Ritz-Carlton and they're getting everything for free, when the fact of the matter is completely different. And when I do,
well,
I
some
go to
are
these
living
houses,
at the Inn of Chicago and getting 3 meals a day.
Yeah, I mean, and that's not because they want to. It's because some stupid politician or some decided to do that to paint the picture even worse for them, or who knows why they did it. But and then, like, when I do go to these houses, and you know, like, they are, like, the houses are spotless. They come in, they make me a cup of coffee or whatever. I mean, and then I also started this TikTok channel where we go around cleaning the city of Chicago. And you know, I went to the.
Hey, what's the TikTok channel? I want to follow it. What is it?
It's at St. Christopher Project.
Okay.
On TikTok, and it's great. I mean, when I go into these, I even went to the welfare line at which is, there's a long line every day, and I know that makes a lot of people mad. I just pull up my truck at Northern California, and I say, "Hey, who wants to work for $15 an hour?" It's like in a second, it's just my truck is filled, you know.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm just saying, and then and all the people that I clean with, and if you check the channel, you'll see we go out 3 days a week, and we're cleaning Inglewood, we're cleaning Roseland, we're cleaning South Chicago, which are heavily littered. And that's the reason I do this. I don't make any money from this or anything. I do this because I just see, because I'm on the street and I see a whole different side of this, right? Like, really good working people that gave everything they could to come here, and then all they want is a good life. They're married, they have kids. And you know, and then I have seen some bad people too, you know, but that's very minor.
Well, don't you think they're the ones who should be deported first? The bad people, that are committing crimes.
Honestly, Amy, like there are still people. There's still like a couple thousand people in the Pilsen shelter. Okay, if you're not going to give the work visas, send them back, because it's cruel what we're doing to them. Yeah. They don't have the funds to leave. People are like, "Go home, get out of here." I'm like, they don't have anything. They came here with a T-shirt. Everything they had, they gave to the cartels across the border. They have nothing.
Hey, Chris, there are bills all across the state, the government, all across the state legislators that call for rapid repatriation. They'll provide a flight for them to go back home. But I'll say this. I get what you're doing. I get and understand that. As somebody who started a lot of non-for-profits to help people, that's my heart. I get called a bleeding liberal because of that, and I really don't care. But at the same time, all of this money that's going to this illegal immigration problem, when we have soldiers who are struggling, when we have black, white, you name it, that veterans are struggling here in America, I fix where you live. I want to see America first before we take care of any other illegal immigrant. Now, if you're coming here because you're seeking asylum, like real asylum, You coming from war-torn countries and things of that nature, I get that, because I've said that the immigration is what's going to save America. But when you bring the criminal element, the underbelly of criminality into this country, remove it, and I want to remove fast, because guess what? My kids have to grow up in this. Your kids have to grow up in this. Think about America and protecting Americans first. That's my bottom line with this.
Well, John, there's one thing I just want to say really quick on that. I know you don't have a lot of time, but so the way our children want to grow up. Okay, now listen to this, though. Now, we're fine with sending trillions of dollars overseas for wars, right?
I'm not fine with it.
No one cares. Well, most people don't complain about it a lot or don't argue that point. But yet, when we want to spend the money to help human beings that are suffering, everyone has a huge problem with it. And I think that is more important for the legacy to leave our children than to be, to embrace love and never hate. The really reason I do all this is because the overwhelming majority of hate from Americans, I don't even care what it's about. I've just never seen so much hate like this, and it is insane. Especially on sometimes I hope that it's like bots on the TikTok channel. Like, could people really be this cruel? I ask myself.
I don't think it's all hate. I think people are concerned about Americans and Americans being attacked and destroyed. I'm sorry, Amy.
Oh yeah, no, that's fine.
I think hate's a big part of it, actually.
A portion of it.
Yeah.
In this.
You know what, Chris? I'm so sorry. We're gonna have to let you go, but we will definitely have you back, Chris Amatori. You can follow him on TikTok at St. Christopher Project, and he joined us on our Turnkey.pro answer line. Coming up next on Chicago's Morning Answer, joy and vibes. Well, they don't really put food on the table. We'll explain. But now let's head into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
4 passengers shot and killed on a Blue Line train in Forest Park. WIND Chicago News Time, 7 o'clock.
It's back to school at NYU and Columbia. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. 2 of the college campuses rocked by pro-Palestinian protests during the spring. Fox's Brooke Singman reports from New York City.
Students are on high alert as classes begin at Columbia University today. Anti-Israel protesters have already returned to campus over the past few days, marching around the school, hurling pro-Palestinian chants. The Anti-Semitism Task Force says there is an urgent need for change, including improved anti-bias training and a new system for reporting anti-Semitism.
Now, there were a lot of protesters in the city yesterday.
The crowds we saw in New York were estimated to be quite big, between 5,000 and 7,000 people. There are reports some protesters were told to cover their face to avoid surveillance, even take steps to avoid being tracked. At one point, we did see some smoke bombs go off. Over the holiday weekend, the White House weighed in, writing, "It is especially heinous to express support for Hamas on the same day as the funeral for an innocent American hostage who they brutally murdered."
Fox's Mark Meredith at the White House. Hirsch Goldberg, Poland, was among the 6 hostages Hamas murdered. Their bodies found by Israeli forces Saturday.
Citizens of Israel, we are in the middle of an existential war.
Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, through a translator, also said no one will preach to him after President Biden said Netanyahu is not doing enough to secure a ceasefire to get more hostages released, as thousands protest in Israel demanding he make a deal. Hamas has warned it may kill more hostages if Israel tries to rescue them. Russia has gone on the attack again in Ukraine, where President Zelensky says 2 missile strikes have killed at least 41 people. There's a search for a gunman in New York City who opened fire during the West Indian American Day Parade, as about 1 million people were out celebrating Caribbean culture.
The shooting followed a dispute. Festivities and music drowned out the gunfire. Most spectators had no idea there was a shooting.
Linda Schmidt with Fox 5 TV. 5 people were wounded, 2 critically. America's listening to Fox News.
Sunshine, 59 degrees, 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. There's an ongoing investigation into a wrong-way crash in Arlington Heights that happened Monday night on Wren Road between Euclid Avenue and Schoenbeck. 1 person is in custody after 4 sleeping passengers were shot and killed on a CTA Blue Line train in Forest Park. Police say officers responded yesterday to the Blue Line station on Des Plaines Avenue. 4 were found shot inside that train. Forest Park Mayor Rory Hoskins.
It's a horrible tragedy that 4 people are dead on Labor Day weekend. Our police department and our fire department respond to this location probably more than any other location in our jurisdiction.
Chicago police finally located the suspect on a CTA Pink Line train. A firearm was recovered. The case remains under investigation. Mourners remembering Hirsch-Goldberg, Poland, thousands gathered yesterday in Jerusalem for funeral services for the Israeli American. 23-year-old was one of 6 killed by Hamas. His parents lived in Chicago before moving to California, where Hirsch was born. Following the horrific news of Hamas terrorists killing the Israeli hostages, a demonstration was held Monday in Chicago in the South Loop. Nick Souse of the U.S. Palestinian Community Network says now their demands are changing.
We're beyond the demand for a ceasefire at this point. Our demand is to end military aid and political aid and all forms of aid to the state of Israel.
Souse says protests will increase in Chicago until their demands are met. A downstate group has started a movement to split Illinois into 2 states. The Illinois Separation Group revealed that 7 counties will be voting on separating from Cook County and forming a new state. Eric Ivers is a member of the Jersey County Board.
Non-binding. It's not that we're voting to secede from the state of Illinois. It's that we're voting on whether we should investigate it further.
Ivers says he's confident a vast majority of residents will vote to form a new state.
Very few exceptions. There's 3 or 4 counties downstate that voted blue, but the rest of us are tired of being pushed through the ringer by the folks up in Cook County.
In 2022, 26.5 counties voted in favor of such questions, and none voted in opposition. Cubs lost to the Pirates 5-3, while the White Sox lost to Baltimore 13-3. The news, a service of Papa Nicholas Coffee, hot air roasted locally and cold blended in small batches to ensure premium quality. Online at papanicholas.com. A check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
Larry Elder wants the media to do its job.
Now, I sat through Joe Biden's speech, and it was 52 minutes packed with lie after lie after lie after lie. I love how they fact-check Donald Trump, who often is accused of lying when he exaggerates. He puffs, he exaggerates. We all know that.
The Larry Elder Show. Weeknights at 8, right before Sean Hannity at 10 on AM 560. The Answer.
Are you a business owner with a strategic mission, a drive to succeed, and a plan for growth, but you just need the right bank? Hi, Mike Gallagher here, letting you know that Signature Bank is all about going the distance for commercial banking customers. It's what Signature Bank does every day. Their team understands that accessibility is key to their culture. In times like these, you want a bank that is there for you to weather the bad times and capitalize on the good. And with Signature Bank by your side, you can't go wrong. It's a true partnership. That's why Signature Bank in Chicago is my bank. That's right. I'm a customer. I believe in what they have to offer, from innovative tech and customized solutions to help your business grow and thrive. Reach out to my friends at Signature Bank. Call 773-467-5630, 773-467-5630, or visit them online at signaturebank.bank. That's signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank makes commercial banking personal. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Well, summer's here and the weather is beautiful. Everyone has a favorite outdoor activity: golf, bike riding, bird watching, long walks. Ask 100 people, you'll get 100 answers. But if everyday aches and pains are keeping you on the sidelines, I have one answer: Relief Factor. Relief Factor is a 100% drug-free daily supplement that helps your body fight pain naturally. Developed by doctors, Relief Factor uses a unique formula of natural ingredients. It doesn't just mask pain, it helps reduce or even eliminate it. Wherever you're hurting, back, neck, joints, or muscles, in 3 weeks or less, you'll start to feel the difference all day, every day. So whatever you like to do, swimming, pickleball, hanging out in the garden, Relief Factor can help you feel good again and let you enjoy all your favorite outdoor activities all summer long. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF and save on your first order. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Fight pain naturally with Relief Factor.
Do you just grin and bear it or bite the bullet when it comes to everyday pain? Don't. Try Relief Factor, a drug-free daily supplement that helps your body fight pain naturally. Relief Factor doesn't just mask pain, it helps reduce or even eliminate it. It's 100% drug-free, it's developed by doctors. In 3 weeks or less, you'll know whether it works for you like it works for me. Try Relief Factor for yourself. Go to relieffactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF and save on your first order. That's 1-800 and the number 4, relief.
Progressive knows when you own a boat, life on land is a tough sell.
Come on down to Land, where you can do things like clean your gutters, pay tolls, and even get the wrong thing you ordered. We got it all. Potholes, people talking at the movies, and don't forget about flat tires when it's raining. It's Land.
Life on a boat is way more relaxing, so customize your coverage with Progressive, America's #1 boat insurer. And relax, knowing you got the coverage you need. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, #1 rating based on 2022 boat market share data from ratefilings.com.
7:08. Let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time, a service of Papa Nicholas Coffee, a Chicagoland tradition for over 5 generations. Choose Papa Nicholas Coffee because great coffee is their family tradition. Online at papanicholas.com. Eden's right now 28 Lake Cook Road to the junction. The Kennedy at 55 into the Circle interchange. Stevenson 50 minutes, 355 into DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Earlier accident on the Tri-State, still jamming things up northbound between St. Charles and the Grand Avenue curve. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast with Ruth O'Brien.
Mostly sunny and nice today. A gorgeous day to be outside with I-78. Clear, starry night tonight, low 59. Sunshine all day tomorrow with high up to 84. Warm on Thursday with clouds and sunshine, high up to 86. I'm Ruth O'Brien on AM 560, The Answer.
59 at O'Hare. Next news at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Amy Jacobson here. John Anthony.
Hey.
In for Dan Proft. So glad you're here.
I need a life 120 life.
Why?
Because my blood pressure's...
Oh, after that last segment with our last guest?
The last couple of segments, my blood pressure. I haven't taken my meds yet, so
I hear you, brother. I've been double dosing this past week. But it's all right. God is good, right?
God, all the time. And all the time.
And all the time?
God is good.
Thank you.
There you go.
All right. Well, we have an election coming up because, Labor Day, that's a reset button because now we are on the driveway home. And it's not only the presidential race, but the Cook County State's Attorney's race as well. And with that, we welcome back to the program our very good friend, Bob Fioretti. You ready for his resume?
Yeah.
And I'm about to give it to you. 2-term Chicago 2nd Ward Alderman and 2nd Ward Democratic Committee Leader and currently candidate for Cook County State's Attorney. Good morning, Mr. Fioretti. How are you?
It is a good morning for sure. I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on the show.
Yeah, so the reset button has taken place. It is past Labor Day. So what's the game plan between now and November, the first week of November?
Well, same thing as it has been. Get out, meet the voters, tell what our program is. And, of course, as you know, we don't, being a Republican and in a Democratic area, it's tougher to raise funds. But from what I hear from the people, and I was in 4 different parades this weekend and several festivals, people want change. They want somebody to enforce the law as it is written, somebody to stop coddling violent criminals as the Democrats do. And I see a lot of change from people, and they want somebody who will stand up for the victims here in this county and make sure that they back, that as state's attorney, somebody who will back the police. Simple as that. That's what we're trying to do.
Now, your opponent, she has been radio silent. I haven't seen any ads. No billboards. I mean, I think I saw one campaign sign. Have you offered to debate her?
We sent out a letter, I think in mid-August, asking for a Series 5 debates throughout the county so people can hear, not just on one media outlet, but we have not heard anything back, and we're going to be pressuring her or her campaign to see what we can do on that. I think the mainstream media ought to be taking the lead in terms of what they should be doing there and saying this is the most important office for law enforcement in the not only in the county but in the state, and people ought to see what my opponent's positions are on the issues. During a debate, she said she had a 30-page proposal, the debate, or an interview, I should say, during the primary, that she had a 30-page proposal to change the office around. Well, let's find out what that, and she refused to give it out, so let's find out what it's about, what she's going to do, as opposed to my positions on what I plan on doing.
Well, have you met with any of the victims' family members of victims of violence here in the city of Chicago or in Cook County in general?
You know, I have over and over again, mothers, families, the 5-year-old that was killed just blocks away from my house here, the 7-year-old also who was killed virtually on right beyond Jackson and Western, mothers who have had their sons paralyzed by violent criminal conduct that we see out there. And I mean, the numbers are just astonishing. I ask people, well, what do you think, how many people have been shot in the county? And I hear numbers like 200-300, but when I tell them, as of today, 2,120 people have been shot in the city of Chicago alone, their mouths drop. And then 370 of those have been killed. It's amazing to them, and they just can't believe those numbers. But those are the true numbers as of today.
Because crime's not only in the city; it's spreading to the suburbs.
Yeah. And there's no doubt about it. It has been, and there's not really a tracking system in terms of putting up what the numbers are in the county. We see carjacking happening all the time, retail theft happening all the time, people being shot in the suburbs all the time, but it's just not reported the way the city of Chicago's numbers are reported.
Right. And Bob, I don't know if you heard the 911 call from, I believe it was in the area of 6100 block of King Drive.
6124 King Drive, South King Drive.
About Venezuelan taking over an apartment complex. Now, speak to the voters of Cook County. What can the Cook County State's Attorney's Office do to assist the policing agencies and bringing this issue to an end? Because you see a lot of, I see Blexit on YouTube going off right now, because black people are flustered and frustrated in the black communities because most of these Venezuelans are within their communities and they're not coexisting together quite well.
Well, I did not see the 911 call on that, but I know there's no coexistence, whether it's in the black community or in some of the white communities. I see it all the time. I was retained by a group of senior citizens in the black community to see to stop what was happening at an abandoned school that they put up. And when it found out, I think when the administration found out that I was going to be the one handling it, and they did not want black senior citizens behind me and who I was representing, they moved them out of that school pretty quickly.
Oh, that was South Shore, wasn't it?
No, it was out on 6400 South Ellis.
Yes.
That area, right there. So, but, this is out of hand. We've given almost $500 million right now. We put them up in some of the finest hotels here. We should be doing that for our veterans. And it's out of control in terms of what we see. I passed by 2 or 3 of the places here in the West Loop and South Loop that I see on almost a weekly basis. And we see the continuing crime, the numbers of 911 calls that come from those establishments or around the area are just beyond. Somebody has to enforce the law. If they're breaking the law, we need to enforce it. The problem is, and I've talked to a number of judges who deal with the criminal courts, who are in the criminal court system, and they say, yes, they may get arrested. When they do, they are released immediately, and then they don't show up for court on their next appearance.
Go figure. All right, Bob Fioretti, where can we find out more about your campaign?
Fioretti for Cook at .com, and they can come into we have a campaign office at 521 West North Avenue, and we are opening up more across the county.
All right, good luck to you, and we'll have you back on before the election. Bob Fioretti for Cook.com, and he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
And paid for by America First Tax Group. Attention, if you or your business is behind in filing your tax returns, or if you owe over $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS, please listen carefully. The IRS does not joke around and will not stop their collection efforts. If you're tired of the IRS letters, levies, liens, or wage garnishments and would like to get a fresh start, we can help. Due to the financial hardships in the country, the IRS is making it easier than ever to settle tax problems for those who owe more than $10,000. We can help settle your delinquent tax problems, end all collections, and may even reduce your back taxes significantly. Even if you can't afford to pay your back taxes, you can still get the help you need. We've helped thousands of taxpayers just like you. But you must call 800-390-6201 today to stop your tax problem from getting worse. The information is free and the help is real. Call 800-390-6201. That's 800-390-6201. Again, 800-390-6201.
All right, chronic pain in your knees, shoulder, elbows, hips, John Anthony?
Uh-oh.
Well,
Yeah.
do you?
Yeah, I told you I have a surgically repaired hip.
All right, so how long ago did you get that done?
Oh, now November 2013, I had the surgery.
All right.
11 years ago.
Did you seek alternative remedies before you went under the knife?
Of course. They forced me to, so yeah.
Oh, physical therapy
Yeah.
first and all that?
Yeah, it didn't work.
All right, well, you should have consulted QC Kinetics. It's regenerative medicine. So if you're tired of arthritic pain in your knees, hips, back, shoulder, elbows, or if you have an injury, call QC Kinetics. Everybody's talking about regenerative medicine. You can enhance your joints, improve mobility, and get back to doing the stuff you love without pain, without drugs or surgery or downtime. How long did it take you, by the way, after you had surgery?
To get
What was the downtime?
I had
Weeks?
a campaign to run, so I really didn't. I think that's what really hurt me. It's probably a month and a half that I was down. I was in a wheelchair and everything. So.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
you're campaigning in a wheelchair?
Uh-huh.
Way to try
Well,
and get the
crutches,
votes. Oh
crutches.
yeah, sure.
I had crutches.
All right, well, the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics are experts in these amazing treatments, and they're led by National Medical Director Dr. Mitchell Shinecup from right here in the Chicago area. He was an orthopedic surgeon for 30 years, don't you know?
Ooh.
QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in this exciting breakthrough using cellular therapies. They've got tens of thousands of satisfied patients, and the consultation is totally free. So call now to get lasting joint pain relief with help from QC Kinetics. Call for that free consultation. They'll walk you through the process. They'll explain how it works. There's new locations in Crystal Lake and Gurnee. Saturday appointments available. Call now 312-809-5955. That's 312-809-5955. 312-809-5955.
It's your life, your legacy. Shouldn't it be your choice? For nearly 2 centuries, Catholic Cemetery Chicago has been a haven for families, offering sacred spaces to honor these legacies. Take an active role by pre-planning your final arrangements. Alleviate your loved ones a future financial burden. Lock in today's prices and take advantage of no interest payments and no hidden fees. Visit CatholicCemeteriesChicago.org or call 708-236-5490 to schedule a free consultation today.
A great smile can make you feel happy and confident. So when you consciously conserve your teeth, that glowing smile will show through. At Best Dental Group, Doctors Economos, Guevalis, and their staff are ready to help you create that perfect look or maintain the one you have now. Along with general dentistry, Best Dental Group is a multidisciplined practice with an orthodontist, periodontist, and prosthetic specialists on site. They use the newest breakthroughs in dental technology, such as titanium implants, Invisalign clear braces, and laser treatments. Don't let fear get in the way. They can recommend sedation to make your experience as comfortable as possible. Best Dental Group is located in historic downtown Bartlett and is a multilingual office. Call 630-830-4930. That's 630-830-4930. Or visit bestdental.org. Best Dental Group, sharing your conservative values and helping you to conserve your teeth.
Are you turning 65 and thinking about Medicare? Or are you over 65 and haven't enrolled yet because you still have coverage at work? Either way, Medicare done correctly will be the best health insurance you will ever have. Imagine having an annual deductible of only $240. There are only two good things about aging: wisdom and Medicare. But to navigate the Medicare maze properly, you need a mentor. Best part, my guidance cost you nothing. Call me. I can help.
If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Medicare, then you need a local expert on your side, your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 30-year licensed broker who's been educating our listeners for more than a decade. Steve, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
Thanks, Dan. They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551. That's 630-674-1551.
AM 560, The Answer.
I got to tell you, they talk about lies in the media and fake news. This past week, I watched the lies and the truth just get manipulated, and I'm just sitting back going, when my time comes, am I going to speak? But anywho, enough about that. Oh, no, this is, well, all right. Anyway, NBC was reporting a lie to cover for Kamala Harris.
Uh-oh.
Do you know who Kristen Welker is?
Yes.
All right. Well, this is the talk back between Senator Tom Cotton and her about Trump's quote-unquote campaign photo op at Arlington Cemetery. Do you know how many politicians are filmed at Arlington Cemetery, whether it's Joe Biden laying a wreath at the Tomb of the Unknown, or it's always a political campaign.
They try to make a distinction.
Always take pictures. I mean, when tour groups go to Arlington Cemetery, people take pictures.
But they try to make a distinction that when Barack and Biden took the pictures, they were the actual president and vice president, whereas Trump was the candidate, but he's
also a former president.
That's my point.
This is fake news, made up news. But here's the interaction.
Bottom line, though, I guess, Senator, is it ever appropriate to make campaign content at military grave sites?
He didn't take campaign photos there. These families, Gold Star families, whose children died because of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's incompetence, invited him to the cemetery. And they asked him to take those photos because, as they told me yesterday, when I spoke to Kelly Barnett and Darren Hoover, the parents of Taylor Hoover, who has Arkansas ties, they don't get to go to the beach on Labor Day. They don't get to have barbecues. This is their one chance to have a memory of their children, to commemorate their service and to honor their sacrifice. They wanted President Trump there. They wanted to take those photos. You know who the families also invited? Joe Biden and Kamala Harris.
Oh.
Where were they?
Yeah.
Joe Biden was sitting at a beach. Kamala Harris was sitting at her mansion in Washington, D.C. She was 4 miles away. 10 minutes. She could have gone to the cemetery and honored the sacrifice of those young men and women. But she hasn't. She never has spoken to them or taken a meeting with them.
Well, they did meet with them during the dignified transfer.
Because of
they were with them at the dignified transfer.
Her and Joe Biden's incompetence, those 13 Americans were killed in Afghanistan.
And that is the lie. Harris was not, in fact, at the dignified transfer.
Right.
And President Biden was there, and he checked his watch 3 times.
Insane. Tom Cotton is a stud. I really like Tom Cotton. Where were they? They were invited but they didn't.
They were invited,
show up?
but they didn't show up.
Okay.
And she was 4 miles away at her house.
Yeah, I thought they said the family didn't want them there.
Well, the fact that Welker made the claim in defense of the Democratic presidential candidate pisses me off.
Yeah.
Wake up, people.
Yeah.
And so Kamala Harris released a statement.
Uh-oh.
Saying, as vice president, I've had the privilege. I don't know why I started talking in that voice. I've had the privilege of visiting Arlington National Cemetery several times. It's a solemn place, a place where we come together to honor American heroes who have made the ultimate sacrifice. This is not a place for politics. Whatever. And this is what she said, paragraph 1, 2, 3, 4. This is nothing new from Donald Trump. This is a man who has called our fallen service members suckers and losers.
What do you call that?
And disparaged Medal of Honor recipients. Okay.
She said it's not politics, but she's politicking. Okay. Yeah.
This is that whole, okay, let's put a nail in this coffin for good. The suckers and losers comment.
Yeah.
Never happened.
Correct.
Fake news.
Yeah.
Here is former President Trump explaining that.
Supposedly, you calling wounded veterans that have been shot or wounded suckers and losers.
Yeah. A made-up story. It was made up by a magazine. And I think it was The Atlantic, which is a radical left magazine. And as soon as I heard it, I said, that's a terrible thing. And you don't get rid of it. They make these things and they just use it and use it. The opposing side, they know it's false. I had 26 people that said it never happened. Who would say it? Who would say it? Nobody would say it. A stupid person or a person that's mentally ill.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer.
Don't forget he reached for the will of in the beast on January 6th too. Don't forget that.
There's so many lies told about this man. They've tried to bring him down every way possible. And a convicted felon waiting for sentencing gets shot in the head.
They said he was mocking the reporter. The reporter even said he didn't mock him. Brandon Straka created a whole movement, walk away, because Brandon believed the lie initially and then said he found out the media lied about saying that Trump mocked the reporter. And people still to this day use that against him.
And they use the sucker and loser thing, which is not true. Yeah. All right, coming up on Chicago's morning editor.
Editor? What did you say?
Morning editor. I just changed the name of the show.
Yeah, you did.
Ted Dabrowski joins us, and later, Reparation H is making some promises. But now let's head into the newsroom and catch up with news here at home and around the world. Here's Mike Scott.
7:30 on AM 560, The Answer. And this morning, demonstrators set off smoke bombs at a protest in New York City. Monday, they demanded a ceasefire in Israel's war against Hamas terrorists in Gaza. However, in Israel, memorial services were held for one of 6 Israeli hostages killed last weekend. Fox's Trey Yingst has more from Tel Aviv.
Hamas released a statement. Abu Abaida saying that militants guarding the hostages in Gaza had been given new instructions about what to do if Israeli forces approach. They insinuated that more hostages would be killed if the IDF tries to rescue them. Now, the statement came after the funeral was held for American citizen Hirsch Goldberg Poland in Jerusalem. Thousands of people lined the streets to pay their respects as his parents eulogized their son. Once again, Hamas tried to pressure Israel during this time by releasing a new video showing the hostages alive.
Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu pushed back against pressures for a new ceasefire deal, demanding Israel maintain control of a narrow corridor of land between Gaza and Egypt to stop weapons smuggling by Hamas. President Biden used Labor Day to make his first joint appearance on the campaign trail with VP Kamala Harris since exiting the 2024 race.
She has a backbone like a ramrod. And she has the moral compass of a saint. This woman knows what she's doing. Folks, I promise you, if you elect Kamala Harris as president, it'll be the best decision you will have ever made.
Vice President Harris continued her appeal to American union workers.
Joe Biden has always stood with the workers of America and labor unions of America. Always.
Some hotel workers around the country could be going back to work today after their union and hotel companies continue to talk after failing to reach a contract deal over the weekend. Possession of hard drugs is once again a crime in Oregon as the state's decriminalization experiment officially ended over the weekend. One person was killed in a wrong-way crash in Arlington Heights Monday night, shutting down Rand Road between Euclid and Schoenbeck for hours. One person is in custody after 4 sleeping passengers were shot and killed on a CTA Blue Line train in Forest Park. Police say officers responded yesterday to the Blue Line station on Des Plaines Avenue, where 4 were found shot inside of a train. Forest Park Mayor Rory Hoskins.
It's a horrible tragedy that 4 people are dead on Labor Day weekend. Our police department and our fire department respond to this location probably more than any other location in our jurisdiction.
A shooting near the campus of Northern Illinois University in DeKalb left 2 injured, sparking a police investigation Monday. A 24-year-old man and a 20-year-old woman both suffered gunshot wounds. They were not students at NIU. And the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater nearby is mourning the death of one of its students. Police say they have a suspect in custody for the shooting of 21-year-old Carol Welsh. Welsh grew up and started gymnastics in southwest suburban Plainfield and was a member of the Whitewater gymnastics team that won a national title in the vault last year. Investigators say she was killed Friday night in an off-campus apartment. Counselors will be available for Plainfield High School students as classes are scheduled to begin today. Cubs blow a late 3-run lead in a 5-3 loss to the Pirates, while the Cubs remain 13.5 out of the final National League wild card. The White Sox just continue to lose 11 consecutive games for the 3rd time this season, following a 13-3 loss to Baltimore. The Bears prepping for the real deal next Sunday against Tennessee. The NFL is out with projected wins for NFC teams. The Bears, it looks like, aiming for 8.6 wins behind the Packers and Lions. The news is a service of Papa Nicholas Coffee. Hard air roasted locally and then cold blended in small batches to ensure premium quality. Choose Papa Nicholas Coffee because great coffee is their family tradition. Online at papanicholas.com. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Donald Trump and Kamala Harris will meet on the debate stage for the first time on September 10th. And AM 560 is throwing a debate watch party, and we want you to join us. Join Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, Sean Thompson, and fellow AM 560 listeners on Tuesday, September 10th at Moretti's Unique Events in Hoffman Estates for a buffet dinner, followed by the debate. Tickets are on sale now at 560theanswer.com/debate. That's 560theanswer.com/debate.
It's Reveille. Information is powerful, and so I started Breakthrough Ideas to get relevant information to voters on all matters of policy, trying to connect the dots on policy and politics, focusing mostly on state and local issues. Like it or not, from the time I began in public office 13 years ago, social media and email has become more influential than legacy media for informing people. That's why the admittance last week by Mark Zuckerberg that he willingly censored information during the 2020 election is so concerning. Zuckerberg said the government asked him to censor certain information, and he complied. He also said that he shouldn't have in some cases. But the meta-minders are still in place, and they are still censoring posts. Across the Atlantic, governments want censorship too. The UK is arresting people for sharing social media posts about recent riots. Elon Musk faces massive fines from the European Union for non-compliance with their Digital Services Act because Musk refuses to police X for disinformation. In France, the founder of Telegram was arrested on charges that he is harboring criminal activity on his app and for not sharing his users' encrypted messages with authorities. Mike Benz, former state official and founder of Foundation for Freedom Online, spent 2 hours with Tucker Carlson explaining exactly how involved U.S. intelligence agencies and taxpayer-supported organizations are in censorship and disinformation campaigns around the globe. It's frightening, and it's an interview all must hear and an issue all must be aware of. Free speech is the foundation to a free society. Americans cannot ignore our own government's involvement in shutting down such. I'm Jeannie Ives. To be in the fight, you need to be informed. Listen to my radio show from 7 to 9 p.m. on Sunday and sign up for my newsletter at breakthrough-ideas.com.
It's the perfect blend of flavor and heat. Frank's Red Hot. I put that on everything.
7:37, Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. And this update on the roads is a service of almostfreeteeth.com. If you have a Blue Cross Blue Shield, PPO, or FEP, you could save 90% off on average to get your smile back. Learn more and check if you qualify at almostfreeteeth.com. Eden's at 25 Lake Cook Road to the junction. The Kennedy, a manageable hour and 7. O'Hare to the Burns Circle interchange. Right now, the Eisenhower, the worst of it. Right now, it is at an hour and 13, 390 into the old post office. Stevenson outbound, you've got a slow ramp to the inbound Dan Ryan, and you're jammed up as well on the inbound Dan Ryan, 43 95th into the Circle interchange. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast. Sunny and nice, high 78 today. Clear and 59 overnight. 59 right now. Next news coming up at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
If that's moving up, then I'm moving out. I'm moving out.
We got a show to do. Good morning, Amy Jacobson here, John Anthony, in for Dan Broft. Well, you said you wanted Tylenol, right? Or I don't have Tylenol. I have ibuprofen.
That works.
Want one or two?
Two.
Here you go.
Yeah. Gracias.
De nada. All right. Good morning. Got that out of the way?
Or the drug exchange just happened here.
Yes, it's okay. You're over 18. I can give you whatever you need to have.
30 times over.
All right. It is Tuesday, 7:35, and guess what that means?
Uh-oh.
Our guest, Ted Dabrowski, joins us. Good morning, Ted. How are you?
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, John.
Hey,
How are
Ted.
you guys doing?
And as we know, Ted Dabrowski is president of WirePoints, Inc., and you could follow him on Twitter at ILPOLISKI. How did you come up with that Twitter handle, Ted?
Well, it kind of sounds, it's back from my days when I worked for Illinois Policy Institute, so it's Il-Poliski. You get it?
Ah, okay.
Me.
All right, so we're in a little bit of debt here, aren't we?
We are in a little bit of trouble. The funny money, the COVID money, starting to run out, and Mayor Brandon Johnson and of course Lightfoot before him, they took all that extra COVID money and they spent it on they baked it into the budget on things that are kind of hard to unwind, like bigger salaries, more programs, things like that. And so now that money's running out. The expenditures are going faster than ever, and now we got $1 billion hole. And guess what? The mayor may have to back out of his promise to not raise property taxes because he really doesn't have many other ways of getting money right now.
Are there any other streams of revenue that you can think of? I mean, what about, because they're doing the whole, if you don't shovel your sidewalk, that'll be a $250 fine, but it really didn't snow a lot last winter. So what else can they do besides raising property taxes?
Well, it gets hard, right? Because you can do a whole bunch of small things, but they're all going to be small, and none of them will raise the amount of money, and they'll just piss off everybody, right? If you do a $5 million tax here, $10 million there, $10 million there, just ticks people off. You can try to go after, corporates and do things like a head tax, for people that work in Chicago from the suburbs, or you can go after Chicago Mercantile Exchange. But you remember, we're operating on thin ground right now. Even a place like McDonald's has expressed their dissatisfaction with what's going on here. So Johnson's got to be very careful. The one that's easy to raise and the one that he could do right now is property taxes, and that's why in the end he'll probably go after that because he can get a big chunk of money and get it done. He doesn't need state approval, legislative approval, which of course is the easy one, but that's the one that's going to tick off people the most because they're sick of the tax hikes after Rahm Emanuel did his record tax hikes, property tax hikes. And then Lori Lightfoot tied the property taxes to inflation. We've already seen people screaming about their property tax rates.
Wow. And Ted, isn't that something about how far we've come when the first thing we talk about is how we can raise taxes and not cut spending? We're talking about how to steal more money from Chicagoans instead of saying, wait, let's look to see where we got it wrong in our spending.
It's worse than that, John. Right now, this is interesting. So Lori Lightfoot's budget, her first one in 20, was $3.8 billion. Now he's going to spend $6.3 billion. That's almost like,
wow,
whatever that is, 60% more.
Yeah.
He's got $2 billion more that he's working with than she did back then, and yet still out of money.
Wow.
And all this COVID money came in. It jacked up the sales income, the sales taxes for the city, the income taxes for the city, all that stuff. Tons of money came in. I shouldn't say income taxes, but anyway, all the tax revenues for the city, huge windfall in terms of higher revenues. What do? Instead of being cautious, conservative, careful, they turned around and gave it all away. They gave it to migrants, right? I mean,
right. When that's
they put it into
that's it.
The new police contract. I mean, as much as I like the police, but new police contract is expensive. A fire contract is coming up, so they gave away all the money. Now their hands are tied, and guess what? The only thing left to do is hit taxpayers.
Yeah, but
they gave it away to non-Chicagoans and non-Americans. But what about the CTUs? Their demands.
That's where I was going.
The $50 billion and 3 cents.
Yeah, that's the other thing. There's another big government in Chicago called the Chicago Public Schools. Different government, different tax, and so and they run on property taxes. They're going to want their share of money too because they have this massive contract to pay, and they have the exact same problems, just a different government, but it's still the same mayor, and it's still the same taxpayer, right? Because the taxpayer doesn't give a damn whether it's the city or the school district. They're having to pay more, so they're about to get whacked again.
What about the city tax? Remember when he was running for mayor, he said that there would be a city tax, and I was trying to explain it to somebody because I was golfing with somebody. Well, I'm not going to pay it. I said, no, buddy, it doesn't work that way. You have when you go in, to file your taxes, you federal income tax, state income tax, and then an extra city income tax where it's 3%. So if you make $100,000, you have to pay $3,000 to the city of Chicago just to live in this corrupt city.
I mean, he'd love to come up with all those, but all those he's gotten no traction on at all. All the different, he had $800 million worth of different ideas of how to raise taxes because he wanted to spend it all. Mm-hmm. None of those have gotten any traction, and he got rejected on his real estate transfer tax. I mean, that went down. And that should have been a slam dunk the way he structured it. That it was tax the rich and give a little bit of a cut to the rest. Even that failed, and so he's in deep trouble.
Wow. Hey, Ted, is there a way to measure just how much money Chicago, Cook County is losing? When you look at their high sales tax rate, is there a way to measure how much of that money that should be spent in Chicago, that Chicagoans and Cook Counties just go right outside of the Cook County or Chicago to buy services, groceries, gas, and things of that nature?
I'm sure there is, and I know there's been some studies done on that. People who've tried to capture that kind of thing. I haven't researched it. I don't know, but it is interesting, right? Because if you live right over the border, you're buying your cigarettes, your beer, your liquor, your gas, whatever it is, right? I mean, groceries. Yeah, I mean, heck yeah, groceries, all that. I mean, that's a huge difference in sales tax. We have the highest sales tax for a big city, and go right over the border.
And there's multiple sales taxes.
Well, I got to tell you, so Ted, I'm a big Hammond, Indiana, Highland, Indiana fan. And I go there, do my yoga, pure hot yoga. It's the best ever. Rachel's the best on Saturday mornings. Do that, and then gas up, go to the Walmart in Hammond, and I spent $297, and my sales tax, it's like $3.
That's the next tax coming.
Like, are you kidding me? And I asked the lady too and I circled. I go, "Is this right?" And she said, "Yeah, that's right." So why wouldn't people just do that?
You're saving hundreds, or maybe I don't know,
$100 a year. Yep, more than that.
Right, and and that's a sad thing is that the Chicago Council, right? They'll get desperate, and happily raise taxes more and more, thinking that helps. When all you're doing is you're pushing more people to shop elsewhere. You're pushing more people out, and you're perpetuating a a vicious circle downward. That's how unprofessional these guys are. They're not smart.
Well, that's the next tax, Ted. If you shop outside of Chicago or Cook County, they're going to tax you. They're going to tax you on the tax that you didn't pay because you went outside to another state. They're going to tax you. I'm telling you, these people are going to get creative.
I think they're going to tax the air that we breathe sooner or later.
The mileage.
Car mileage, head tax. I mean,
we don't want to do. But Ted, when you look at it, if we had real leaders and not activists, I saw you had an article on there about that's really on wirepoints.org that we have in our leaderships in the city of Chicago and Cook County, and even when you look at the legislative body, we don't have leaders. We have activists. So an activist job, what they'll do is whatever group that they're representing, that's all they care about. And when you see issues like this, because if Chicago is seeing so many people leave, don't you think a real leader would figure out how do we keep these people here?
Yeah, right. They're not leaders, like you say. Brandon Johnson, he's a leader of a union community organizing group, right? And all he cares about is protecting them. He's not thinking about the city. And they're not professionals. When I think about, I don't know. I haven't been involved in this in government in a long time, but 30 years ago, you probably had leaders of government who maybe weren't great, but at least they were professional, and then they kind of understood that there was a budget and you had to keep it balanced and things like that. That's gone out. That's gone now. They don't care about. These are activists, right? They don't care about budgets. They don't care about metrics. You got to have your numbers. You got to look and see what is the data telling you. Oh, people are leaving, et cetera, and you act on it.
Right.
These guys don't do that.
Right, because Richard J. Daley and M. Daley, they understood these things.
They sure did. And where
Absolutely.
are they now? All right. Well, Ted Dabrowski, we're going to have to leave it there for today. Thank you so much. You can read him at other articles at wirepoints.inc. Ted Dabrowski, thanks as always for joining us, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, guys.
Hi, Ted.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Can you read this email for me?
Of course. Jeez, I wish they could do something for your eyesight.
Me too. But you heard what they said. There's nothing we can do.
When vision loss can't be corrected with glasses or surgery, and hope seems lost, turn to Spectrios Institute for Low Vision. Spectrios doctors specialize in the treatment of vision loss related to eye diseases, such as macular degeneration, glaucoma, and diabetic retinopathy. There is hope, supported by science with personalized rehabilitation plans, occupational therapies, and access technology at Spectrios. Talk to a patient service manager. They'll walk you through the program. Spectrios takes BCBS and Medicare insurance. They also have grants for qualifying patients and offer a Seeing is Believing children's outreach program. Go to spectrios.org, located in Wheaton in a building that says it all, the House of Hope. That's spectrios.org. Spectrios Institute, the head, heart, and eyes approach to better vision. Remember to keep Spectrios Institute, a 501c, in your estate or legacy planning.
What a waste of time, money, and vacation days. Hi, Amy Jacobson here. And if you've had a bad knee or hip replacement surgery, you know exactly what I'm talking about, because sometimes the surgery doesn't even work. But there is an alternative, QC Kinetics. Check it out before you go under the knife. QC Kinetics uses your own body's properties to repair damaged joint tissue due to arthritis or an injury. Folks, it's regenerative medicine. Think about it. If you cut your hand, it eventually heals. But don't take my word for it. Find out for yourself with a free consultation. And what's really cool is the fact that Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, the National Medical Director and former orthopedic surgeon, is located right here in the Chicago area. Call now to end your chronic pain and learn more about QC Kinetics. They have new locations in Gurnee and Crystal Lake. Saturday appointments available. The number to call is 312-809-5955. That's 312-809-5955. 312-809-5955.
Dennis Prager here. Join me on an unforgettable cruise to the Caribbean this November. We'll cruise to the vibrant islands of Half Moon Cay, Curacao, Bonaire, Turks and Caicos, and much more. We'll be joined by special guest Sean McDowell, and we'll both be sharing insights into current events in a way I hope energizes and challenges you. Secure your spot before space runs out by calling 855-565-5519 or book online at pragercruise.com.
Quick delivery service. What do you need delivered today?
Hi, I'm trying to work through a last-minute to-do list for my boss. Can you deliver a hard drive to the Loop in Chicago?
We can deliver that today.
Okay, can you deliver 20 boxes to a client in Rockford?
We can deliver that today.
Can you deliver 12 pallets of tile to our customer in Naperville?
We can deliver that today.
Can you deliver a large envelope to Northbrook?
We can deliver that today.
Oh my gosh, I think my water just broke. Can you?
We cannot deliver that.
Quick Delivery Service delivers your package no matter the size. More than just a messenger service, Quick Delivery Service is a messenger and trucking service that can also provide scheduled routes for your daily delivery or your air shipment. Trucks are equipped to handle the load and provide ground-level service for same-day delivery. The Quick Delivery Service team of safe, licensed professionals can provide quick door-to-door service for your special delivery. QuickDelivery.com. That's QuickDelivery.com. We deliver that today. But we don't deliver this.
AM 560, The Answer.
Just big city living, huh? Did you hear what happened?
With?
In Forest Park. The Blue Line.
Oh, yeah.
Some madman decided to open fire on 3 men who were sleeping in one Blue Line car. And then went into another and shot another person, fatally shot him. That person, 60-year-old, or in his 60s, was taken to the hospital and died. But anybody feel safe out there?
No.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro, answer line 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment. They're calling it a random attack. Random.
No.
Sure, it's random. Here's the police chief, Chris Chin, Forest Park.
We have somebody in custody. A weapon was recovered. There's no immediate threat. This, obviously is shocking. It is uncommon, to have a mass shooting like this, especially this close to home. So, for people to feel unsafe, it's justified.
For people to feel unsafe, it's justified.
See, Amy, this is why I don't take public transportation or be anywhere on it, because guess what?
Well, some people don't have choices.
I know. I'm going to have my
kids took it to go to work.
To
school, excuse me.
I would rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6 any day of the week. And because they say that I can't bring my weapon onto a public transportation, I don't use it, because I know I will use it. Because and I don't and guys, listen, I'm not, Amy, you know me, I'm not a violent person at all. But to protect my family, to protect me and those who I love, I will use whatever force is necessary to ensure that I go back home that night safe and sound, and my family and friends as well.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro, answer line. You could also text us at that same line. Well, Forest Park neighbors, not too happy.
I just hopped out of the bed and rushed up here. So I'm just trying to figure out, is everything okay?
They're trying to figure out who it was. I mean, it was chaotic.
Yeah.
When it happened. It happened at 5:24 in the morning. And the suspect, well, here's the police call.
Appears to be 3 individuals unresponsive on the same road car.
Slender, black male, wearing green pants and black shirt.
And they picked him up on the pink line, and they recovered a weapon as well.
Yeah, I think is that 1096? And if you're a cop, I know 1096 means mental patient. Was something wrong with him? This person?
I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, they're not telling us his name yet, as far as I know, and that obviously not a motive.
I think it was 1096.
But normally, I have taken the Blue Line. I took it a few months ago.
Yeah.
A lot of people are sleeping on the Blue Line.
Yeah.
They use that as their homeless shelter.
Wow.
Instead of being out in the heat in the summer or in the cold in the wintertime, they sleep on the Blue Line.
What's the one job of government, Amy, that I do agree and believe with?
To protect the people, right?
Yeah. Well, that's well, let me put it this way. That's a role of government, but you know who the role of protecting yourself is? You. If you don't learn to protect yourself, I'm not dependent on police. I'm not dependent on government to protect me and mine. I will never be that type of person, ever. I will be the protector, and if you got a problem with that, hey, shame on you.
CTA responded. Are you ready? This is an isolated incident. Oh, that should make people feel better. This heinous and egregious act of violence should never have occurred. Oh, really? It shouldn't have?
Wow.
And the same thing's happening in San Francisco. Did you hear this? Because everything's random and rare, including in San Francisco, where NFL rookie, he's a wide receiver, 23-year-old Ricky Pearsall, he was their number 1 draft pick He was a Florida Gator, lived in Florida, safe, and now lives in blue San Francisco. He was broad daylight, signing autographs, and was walking back to his car. And it was targeted not because he's an NFL player, but the 17-year-old kid wanted his Rolex watch. And I don't know what happened, but God saved this young man. He got shot in the chest, and the bullet went through without hitting any vital organs.
Oh.
And there's video. You should watch it. He's, because they take off your clothes when you get shot. They take off your clothes to make sure there's no other bullet wounds. They're clutching the person, EMT, they're clutching his chest where the wound is, and he's walking. I mean, he can walk, but the fact that he's alive is by the grace of God.
Wow, yeah.
And the EMT or the San Francisco Police Department officer that was there, she's like, fight right now like you're on the field.
Yeah.
That's how I want you to approach this.
You know, he's on a lot of people's fantasy board. You play fantasy football?
Not this
I
year.
do. I am. And he's on a lot of fantasy football teams, and now he's going to be out for 4 months. I just saw a report.
4 months?
Yeah. 4 games. I'm sorry, 4 games.
I'm sorry.
4 games.
Dude, 4 games.
4 games.
But, this is what happened. Here's the police chief of San Francisco. Oh, by the way, this happened in Union Square. Random and rare, they say.
He was walking alone when a suspect approached him and attempted to commit an armed robbery using a gun. This kind of violence is simply unacceptable in our city.
Yeah. Everything's unacceptable. Yeah. Everything's terrible and rare. Mayor of San Francisco, London breed.
This was a terrible and rare incident in Union Square.
Wow. Yeah. Rare.
Terrible and rare. Let's quickly take a phone call. Lee and Hammond, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer. Good morning.
Hi. The reason for this national violence uptick we're looking at here now for a few years are these George Soros-sponsored DAs like Kim Fox and all around the United States. And what really drives me nuts is that the Republicans who say they want to correct things in this country refuse to point out that this is organized, it's nationwide, and until we do something to correct this, it's going to get worse and worse. And the thing, I just don't understand how the Republicans and a lot of people in the media.
All right, thanks, Rich. We're going to have to leave it there. It
You
is
don't
now
listen to my show.
8 a.m. WIND Chicago.
More death and destruction in Ukraine. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. After Russia launched missiles that were not shot down, killing at least 41 people, 180 others injured.
This appears to be one of Russia's deadliest attacks on Ukraine since the war began. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says 2 ballistic missiles hit the Poltava region. An educational facility and a nearby hospital bore the brunt of the attack. He's repeated his call for allies to supply more air defense systems to help combat Russia's arsenal of missiles and drones.
That's Fox's Jonathan Savage. The attack comes while Russia's President Vladimir Putin visits Mongolia, risking arrest, which is what that country is supposed to do as a member of the International Criminal Court that issued a warrant for Putin's arrest for war crimes in Ukraine. But since Mongolia relies on Russia for fuel, it welcomed Putin on a red carpet. Hamas is warning more hostages could be killed in Gaza after Israeli forces found the bodies of 6 who were murdered, including American Hersh Goldberg Poland. His funeral was yesterday.
Hamas tried to pressure Israel during this time by releasing a new video showing the hostages alive. After the execution of these 6 Israeli hostages, there are new questions about how the war will end. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu spoke overnight at a press conference. He made clear he's not willing to compromise on the issue of the Philadelphia corridor, a strip of land between Gaza and Egypt where Israeli troops are currently deployed.
Fox's Trey Hingston, Tel Aviv. Thousands have protested in Israel demanding a ceasefire to bring hostages home. There were also more pro-Palestinian demonstrations in New York City.
We were there yesterday, 5,000 people and counting, marching through Manhattan, calling for the United States to divest and not have any relationship with Israel, saying the United States and Joe Biden has blood on their hands.
Fox's Alexis McAdams outside Columbia University, where classes resumed today. It was one of the many college campuses rocked by protests in the spring. They're starting to pick a jury today in Colorado to try the gunman charged with murdering 10 people in a Boulder grocery store. He's using an insanity plea. America's listening to Fox News.
59 degrees at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. One person killed in a wrong-way crash in Arlington Heights Monday night. The crash on Rand Road shut down that roadway for hours between Euclid and Schoenbeck Road. One person is in custody after 4 sleeping passengers were shot and killed on a CTA Blue Line train in Forest Park. Forest Park Deputy Chief Chris Chin.
Shocking. It is uncommon, to have a mass shooting like this, especially this close to home.
3 of the 4 victims died at the scene, the 4th pronounced dead at a nearby hospital. And Rory Hoskins, the mayor of Forest Park, says his small department needs more resources.
What we've learned is that, over the last few years, our number of responses have increased exponentially. And so we're calling on our leadership, countywide, statewide, to invest more resources to support a small community like Forest Park and securing this area.
Chicago police located the suspect on a CTA Pink Line train. A firearm was recovered. The case remains under investigation. No suspects are in custody after 3 men were shot on Chicago's far south side. The shooting happened yesterday near 123rd and Emerald. Chicago's south side, a woman dead following a shooting in the 200 block of East 57th. She died in a nearby hospital. No arrests were made. And a Newton County, Indiana sheriff's deputy is in critical condition after being shot in a gunfight with an Illinois suspect fleeing from police in his home state into northwest Indiana Sunday night. Illinois State Police have identified the suspect as 37-year-old Andrew Roselius of Clifton. Police were chasing him as he was believed to be holding a hostage. The suspect was killed in a shootout with police. Cubs lost to the Pirates. White Sox lost to Baltimore. The Bears prepping for the real deal next Sunday against Tennessee. The news, a service of Health Insurance Mentors. Are you 65 or older thinking about Medicare? Medicare done correctly will be the best health insurance you will ever have. Call Stephen Tucker today. HealthInsuranceMentors.com, 630-674-1551. 8:04, time for the AM 560 Business Beat, a service of Signature Bank. Visit signaturebank.bank for all your commercial banking needs. And now the latest from the Fox Business Network.
I'm Liz Clayman, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Oil services company Halliburton now says its recent cyber attack has disrupted its business, and the hack has limited access to some of its systems. Halliburton says it believes the unauthorized third party has accessed information. The company is evaluating what the nature and scope of the information is and what notifications are needed. Tesla's China sales were the best so far this year in that country. Its sales improved 37% from July, though numbers are still down from a year ago. Also, Reuters is reporting that Tesla is planning to produce a 6-seat version of its Model Y SUV in China next year. The EV maker has asked suppliers to prepare to step up production. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Jim Posola, invested in you.
Dennis Prager sees collusion without trying.
They get away with everything. You know where there's collusion? It's collusion between the left and the media. They don't sit down and get talking points. Just the same leftists who run the Democratic Party run the media. They don't have to sit down and talk to one another.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Charlie Kirk at 1 on AM 560. The Answer.
Papa Nicholas Coffee, a Chicagoland tradition for over 5 generations, combines heritage and innovation in every cup. Our coffee is locally roasted, hot air roasted, and cold blended in small batches to ensure premium quality. Whether you prefer a 12-ounce bag or a 28-ounce bag, or even the convenience of K-Cups, you'll find Papa Nicholas Coffee at your local retailer. Taste the difference that 5 generations of expertise brings. Choose Papa Nicholas Coffee, because great coffee is our family tradition. Visit online at papanicholas.com. That's papanicholas.com.
As a local business owner, you get called every week by marketing companies. We get it. We have hundreds of satisfied customers. Here's what a satisfied client recently said.
Open enrollment is going great. We're hitting record numbers. Thank you so much for this report. It really is amazing to see how the marketing is really shaping our enrollment around the city.
If you're a local business and ready for the next step, visit surroundchicago.com right now. Our experts are ready to help you take your marketing to the next level. Visit surroundchicago.com today.
Well, summer's here and the weather is beautiful. Everyone has a favorite outdoor activity: golf, bike riding, bird watching, long walks. Ask 100 people, you'll get 100 answers. But if everyday aches and pains are keeping you on the sidelines, I have one answer: Relief Factor. Relief Factor is a 100% drug-free daily supplement that helps your body fight pain naturally. Developed by doctors, Relief Factor uses a unique formula of natural ingredients. It doesn't just mask pain, it helps reduce or even eliminate it. Wherever you're hurting, back, neck, joints, or muscles, in 3 weeks or less, you'll start to feel the difference all day, every day. So whatever you like to do, swimming, pickleball, hanging out in the garden, Relief Factor can help you feel good again and let you enjoy all your favorite outdoor activities all summer long. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF and save on your first order. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Fight pain naturally with Relief Factor.
It's 8:08. A check of the roads now. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. And this update is a service of almostfreeteeth.com. What if you could save an average of 90% for dental implants and get 100% of your smile back? With a BCBS, PPO, or FEP, it's possible. Check if you qualify, almostfreeteeth.com. The Kennedy solid 90 minutes. O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange. The Ike, 80 minutes, 390 into the old post office. And right now, the Dan Ryan at a heavy 40 minutes, 95th into the Circle. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. Now your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Mostly sunny and nice today, high 78. Currently 59. Your next news update is at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good Tuesday morning. Amy Jacobson here. John Anthony in for Dan Proft today and tomorrow. I want to get straight to our next guest because this is serious stuff. Cheryl Atkinson, investigative journalist, Emmy Award-winning host of Full Measure, and she has a new book out, I believe today, Follow the Science, How Big Pharma Misleads, Obscures, and Prevails. And again, it is available today. So again, the name of the book is Follow the Science. And with that, we welcome to the program Cheryl Atkinson. Good morning, Cheryl. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, so what made you write this book? What happened in your life that you thought, you know what, it's time to tell the truth?
Well, HarperCollins asked me to write a book about the COVID post-mortem, and we decided in discussing it that that's been pretty well done. There's some about it in this book, but I thought a more important thing to do would be to look at the global health problem that we're suffering in America and how our own doctors and federal agencies either pretend not to notice or maybe even worse, really don't notice the chronic health epidemics. And I argue in the book with a lot of good evidence that this is due to collusion between big media, big pharma, political figures, and the medical establishment. That's very key.
Well, how are they connected? How is big media and big pharma? I mean, we know that Pfizer, sponsored by Pfizer. I mean, we've all seen that montage of every show in America pretty much sponsored by Pfizer or Moderna.
Yeah, that's one way. It's obviously the media companies don't even really need to be forced to censor anymore. They self-censor. They know where their bread is buttered. But I think a key link that many people don't know about is how all of this works together to really shape doctors starting in med school. For example, Merck, the pharmaceutical company, writes what they call the most widely referred to reference book for doctors to be in the world, called the Merck Manual. And I looked in there as part of this book to see what Merck teaches about its own controversial HPV Gardasil vaccine, for example, what it teaches about side effects with drugs. And I found shockingly that there are not only key omissions, there is information that's completely false there. And if you have a moment, I'll give you one example, or you can ask other questions if you like.
No, I'd like an example. Yeah.
Yeah, I looked at HPV vaccine. It tells doctors there are no serious side effects reported. And of course, I knew that's not true. If you look at the label that Merck puts in, the FDA-approved label with the vaccine, which most people don't get or read, it lists dozens and dozens of serious adverse events reported, everything from paralysis to death. But doctors are taught falsely that there are none. And I think it helps explain why when you go to the doctor, they're not looking necessarily for the right things. They've been steered away from reporting adverse events or even asking you about possible medical adverse events. So that's just one example.
Gosh, my pediatrician talked me into getting the HPV vaccine for my boys.
Really?
Oh, yeah. And as a parent, you just trust your doctor and you never ask questions. And I will never be that person ever again, because that's some scary stuff.
Well, one thing I did, the book, I'm skeptical now, but I think people probably think that's just my nature. But like you just said, I started from a place before I covered these stories 20 years ago where my daughter's fully vaccinated. I would still do some of the things the same way, but a lot of things I would do differently with full information now. And I thought like you did, your doctors will always know everything and always do what's best and never lie. And it's just shocking. So the book takes you along with key points in this journey, examples of how I sort of came to be a skeptic about a lot of stuff.
Well, yeah.
Good citations and info.
Talk about December of 2002 when you were a reporter for CBS and you had this unsettling interview with a smallpox expert.
Well, I thought I really didn't understand the biology of how vaccines work and cause side effects. And, we were going to restart the smallpox vaccine program after 9/11. And experts were saying on the record, before the information was so censored, that this was problematic. Even the government understood that this vaccine has a higher adverse event profile. One government expert called it a toxic vaccine. They ended up pulling this vaccine off after a very short period of time due to, if it sounds familiar, heart inflammation, blood clots, deep vein thrombosis, stuff like that only a handful had happened, but they know that a handful of adverse events about, scientists say really reflects 10,000 to 100,000 more that would occur that would not be reported or recognized. So they pulled that program off pretty quickly, and that was sort of the beginning of my going down the road on all the medicine scandals that, I ended up unearthing.
And NBC journalist, I'm sure you know him, I knew him, David Bloom. Remember he died from deep vein thrombosis while on assignment in Iraq. Did he have the smallpox vaccine?
He did. And in my book, I broke that story that I guess I was the only journalist in the world to ask the question, because I had done this research, that when he died of this kind of thing we hadn't heard much about, deep vein thrombosis, I immediately thought, well, gosh, we now know that that's reported to be a potential side effect of smallpox vaccine and anthrax vaccine and other vaccines. And I confirmed that he had had anthrax and smallpox. And then as a result of my reporting, I confirmed that he had not been properly reported to the database that's supposed to track any death that happened after a smallpox vaccine, because they wanted to find out if there were any potential adverse events. And as a result of my reporting, he was finally reported as a potential adverse event from smallpox vaccine.
Good for you. Because I remember they kept passing that off. Well, he wasn't able to get out and stretch his legs because he was in a tank. Remember, like covering a platoon?
There's truth to that. There's truth to the fact that if you have a genetic predisposition, you're more susceptible to this stuff, but that doesn't exonerate the vaccine or the medicine. It makes you more susceptible to the side effects. And the notion that they were brushing off a relationship, when I understood from my sourcing and my research that it was highly likely that this played a role, it was just, to me, very eye-opening at the time.
Wow. Did his widow ever acknowledge your work or the fact that you reported this?
No, I tried to reach out to the family because I thought I had discovered something important that they would want others to know about in case this could help other people. And I could not get a call back from them, which I thought was strange. And they ended up being advocates for deep vein thrombosis. The wife sitting side by side with a Merck representative, advocating people to recognize deep vein thrombosis. And I'll point out Merck makes a treatment for it, and Merck also made a smallpox vaccine.
Wow.
So the drug companies definitely rally around when there's a high-profile potential injury to sort of deflect.
All right, let's move on to COVID and hydroxychloroquine. How is the canceling of that made an appearance in your book, Followed the Science, which, by the way, is available today?
Well, I think most people probably think hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin were discredited as treatments, and quite the opposite. We now know that both were proving to be and have proven to be through rigorous studies very effective in aspects of treating COVID at different stages. But I talk about why and how it was politicized with researchers just stunned. The researchers who were doing independent research and had no financial stake, that were seeing promising results that I spoke to, were stunned how it was politicized. As one of them said, because Trump supported it, the industry pulled strings with the media to make sure it sounded nutty and crazy and that they controversialized it, which meant a very good chance of medicine that could have helped people was not even fully researched or utilized. So the stats are in there. I follow the money. I show how the advisory board that was recommending more expensive and novel treatments that may not work, that most of them sat on or worked for or were paid by a company that made one of the more expensive medicines that may not have worked. So in other words, the people steering you away from the generic cheap medicine that might work for or had financial connections to the company they were trying to promote.
Wow. And I know when I got COVID, I had to go to a compound pharmacy. First of all, I couldn't get any doctor in Illinois to prescribe ivermectin or hydroxychloroquine. Mm-hmm. So I had to call somebody out of state and do the Zoom call.
Really?
And then you could only go to a compound pharmacy. And there's only a few around, but there is one in Chicago. It's the alternative medicine place, and that's where I got the hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin. And within 24 hours, Cheryl, I was back up and running.
Look, that story's been told so many times, and unfortunately, with some of the studies stopped midstream when the government controversialized it, we'll never have firm answers. There are some completed studies, particularly for ivermectin, hundreds of them. But with hydroxychloroquine, some of the key studies were stopped when the government said nobody should take it. And so, therefore, we can't have the firm answer on a drug that really might have changed the course of, the disease.
And think about how many doctors' lives were ruined. How many people could have been saved? I mean, and the government completely shut it down because
putting
of
people on ventilators was the dumbest decision ever. And you remember in Texas, they were putting bags on people's heads?
Yeah.
Bags.
Yeah.
Plastic bags.
Yes. I've had my run-in with Big Pharma because when I was a legislator, we were doing the heroin legislation here, and Big Pharma came out because we were basically trying to not allow them doctors to be able to prescribe all these psychotropic medications, and they came after us big time on House Bill 1 in legislating heroin.
It's hard to fight them. The money train is real, and I think the saddest part is there's been no accountability. So it would happen again. I'm not sure as many people would go along with it, but there's been no one held accountable. CDC's gotten budget increases with no strings attached every year since. There's, they haven't stepped forward and said, yes, we understood. You look in the book, I've listed the misinformation and false information CDC put out. It's quite a reference. Nobody said, here's who's responsible. Here's how we'll try to keep this from happening again. Everything's just zooming along like it always has, even though we know better.
Yeah. Cheryl, I sorely miss you on television and reporting on the news because you were one of the truth talkers out there. You've always given. It wasn't about you. You never editorialized the news. There was a story and you produced the story and you allow other people to decide. I saw you in, I believe it was in Congress against Matt Gaetz, and Amy's going to play the audio that we have. And I was told that it was a deep fake, that this wasn't real, that because they put community notes on when I shared this, so I had to take it down on TikTok. But you were testifying before, I believe it was before Matt Gaetz committee, and you said this.
Prevailed by the government, and sometimes it takes far too long to be able to clear those matters up.
May I say one little reported facet of my case is one of the federal agents involved in one of the operations against me said that they intended to plant child porn in my husband's computer. This is the FBI. There's been a case that's currently in litigation, unrelated, in which an FBI agent has testified that they did that. They have done that. It was not accomplished in my case. I guess the curtain was drawn on that facet of the operation prior to them doing it. But imagine how you ever get out of that. They knew we had a young daughter at home, and has allegedly conspired to do that.
When you look at the collusion of government, media, and social media, what's the average citizen to do?
Well, I try to give some pointers on some simple critical thinking skills that you can do, some resources and sources that I point to that you can start referring to, at least considering. Once you start critical thinking and understand how to look at things, it's not that hard to start to sort through. But unfortunately, it takes a little bit of work, and more work than you should have to do, because the press ought to be doing some of this stuff for you. Yeah. And may I mention that I start the 10th year of my independent TV show with 43 million viewers every Sunday. I started this week. We don't have a station in Chicago, so I'm not surprised you don't know about it. But I'm still doing the same kind of reporting, and if you go to fullmeasure.news, you can watch replays online in Chicago because we don't have a station there.
I know. I saw you when I was in Iowa.
I'm definitely
in
going
Iowa City, and I turned on. I'm like, oh, Full Measure with Cheryl Atkinson, and I watched your whole program.
I'm about to follow everything right now.
Or he's locking you in. He's locked in, Cheryl.
You're the best.
Oh, God. Well, how are you and your husband doing? I mean, that's pretty traumatic. What happened?
We're doing good. I'm still fighting that lawsuit over the government spying on my computer. I won a clerk's default against one ex-federal agent who admitted to the spying. Unfortunately, he disappeared and is supposedly dead, so he can't tell tales about who assigned him. Yeah,
Was this a John Grisham novel here?
It sounds like it, but I'm still fighting the battle. I'll never get to the top. It's pretty clear the court system, how it's set up. It's impossible for ordinary people to really get justice. But I've gotten little victories that have meant something, and there should be a damages part of that lawsuit held pretty soon. Not that I'll get any money or expect any money from the hundreds of thousands I've spent, but it's more about being on record with the little win and the proof, the forensic evidence that the government spied on me.
Wow. All right, Cheryl Atkinson, the book is out today. Follow the Science, How Big Pharma Misleads, Obscures, and Prevails. And, of course, they can get it at Amazon.com, I imagine.
Yeah, big media will not promote this book. So tell your friends, and after you buy a copy, share the copy later with your friends and family. It's really, I think it's important and helpful.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. Cheryl Atkinson, you can follow her on Twitter, at Cheryl Atkinson. She's still reporting. Fullmeasure.com is where you could see her weekly shows, and she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Honey, have you seen our roof after that storm last night? I think we need to call someone.
Oh, don't worry. We got the shingle company on speed dial.
But I keep hearing in the news recently how dangerous sloped roofs can be. Our home in particular has a sloped roof at its highest point.
Well, the shingle company isn't afraid of any sloped roofs. Their safety record is spotless, their warranty unmatched, and they offer a low-price apples-to-apples guarantee. Besides, it costs us nothing to get a quote.
The Shingle Company, your local roofing experts who handle even the steepest of slopes with ease. Whether it's residential or commercial roofing, they've got you covered. With 3 generations of building experience, they're also experts in siding, gutters, windows, and more.
I am so glad we called them, and I can't believe our insurance covered practically the whole project.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Plus, I love that they're proud supporters of AM 560.
Visit the Shingle Company today at shingleco.com. Again, that's shingleco.com.
Have you lost Illinois Medicaid? At healthcare.gov, you can find a low-cost, quality health plan.
Do plans cover doctor visits?
What about emergency care?
And prescriptions?
All covered and more. Plus, with the new law, 4 out of 5 customers can find a plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Healthcare.gov is here for you. Enroll today for coverage starting the 1st of next month. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Rick Borick, host of Unleash Your Wealth, talks about the importance of tax planning in retirement.
A qualified financial planner can take you through all the steps to show you every single legal way you can use to reduce and minimize your state income taxes across the board so that, again, you keep more of your money and your family keeps more of your money.
Unleash Your Wealth, Saturday at 7 a.m. and our new time at 2 p.m. here on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Sean Thompson for Donley Auctions. Donley Auctions wants your stuff. They have buyers. They need your items. If you're a collector, contact them and find out the market value. If you know a collector, tell Donley about them. If they sell it, you'll get a Donley's Finder fee. Cha-ching, cash in your pocket. Randy, what are you on the hunt for now?
We need collectibles for our auction, and you need some extra cash. Not sure what you have? Call us. We know the value, and then you can make the decision. With our worldwide auction audience, we get top dollar. Here's your chance to add some additional money when you need it. 815-923-7000, 815-923-7000. Check us out at DonleyAuctions.com.
Do you have any of these? Call Donley. You know anyone that has any of these things? Call Donley and get Donley's finder's fee. Donley Auctions, 815-923-7000. Tell them Sean sent you.
I'm worried about Mom. She's having a tough time moving around the house.
Oh, I know. She still thinks she can do everything on her own.
Exactly, but I've been over there every day this week, helping her navigate the stairs, cooking meals, reminding her to take her medicine. I'm always nervous when I leave.
You know what? I admire you for taking care of Mom. But your family needs you too. And what if she slips and falls? A friend recommended the caregivers at Senior Helpers of Naperville Southwest. They service Cook, DuPage, Kane, and Will counties. They guarantee compatibility, and they'll conduct a free safety assessment of her home. Plus, they'll provide as little or as much care as Mom needs.
Senior Helpers of Naperville Southwest, offering both hourly and live-in care. Schedule a free assessment today by calling 331-281-0728. That's 331-281-0728. Again, that's 331-281-0728. And tell them AM 560 sent you. Senior Helpers of Naperville Southwest. Senior care, only better.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, Kamala Harris said what? Man, she has many different accents.
Come on.
Have you noticed this?
Of course.
I like this one. This is great.
You better thank a union member for the 5-day work week. You better thank a union member for sick leave. You better thank a union member for paid leave. You better thank a union member for vacation time.
That was her. Who in Detroit? No, nobody talks like that in Detroit.
No.
Did she fall on her head before did she forget where she was?
Yeah, in the South.
Did she think maybe she was in Georgia, but really she was in Detroit?
Yeah,
and Randy Weingarten's behind her going, ee. Well, a few hours later in Pittsburgh, she had a different accent. And we'll begin there with Scott McKay when he joins us on the other side of the news. Now here's Mike Scott.
61 degrees in Chicago. 8:30 is our time. President Biden back on the campaign trail, this time for Vice President Harris. In his first joint appearance since exiting the 2024 race, he touted himself as the most pro-union president in history. Meantime, the vice president made a speech to steel workers in Pittsburgh Monday afternoon.
Building on the work of President Joe Biden and I and the work we have done in the White House, we will continue to strengthen the Affordable Care Act and make prescription drugs affordable for all Americans.
It's almost a tie in Pennsylvania between Vice President Harris and former President Donald Trump, with a slight lead for Trump, according to several polls. Harris leading in others. The mayor of a French coastal town being used in a rescue operation says this morning 13 illegal migrants are dead after their boat ripped apart during an attempted crossing of the English Channel. Mayor says rescuers so far have recovered 61. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says that 2 Russian military ballistic missiles have struck a training facility and nearby hospital in the central eastern region of Ukraine. 41 have been killed, 180 others have been wounded. Cubs blew a late 3-run lead in a 5-3 loss to the Pirates at Wrigley Field. Cubs now 3 1/2 back out of the final National League wild card slot, and Kyle Hendricks will be on the hill tonight against the Pirates. White Sox lost to Baltimore 13-3, and the Bears prepping for next Sunday's opening weekend matchup against Tennessee. The news, a service of AlmostFreeTeeth.com. Overpaying for dental implants is over if you have a Blue Cross Blue Shield, PPO, or FEP. You could save 90% off on average to get your smile back. Learn more and check if you qualify at almostfreeteeth.com. 8:32, and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Make sure that you never miss a day of Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson when you subscribe to the Chicago's Morning Answer podcast, presented by Signature Bank. Listen to the entire show each day on demand with limited commercial breaks. You can subscribe today for free at 560theanswer.com and click on podcasts or search for Chicago's Morning Answer on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
What a waste of time, money, and vacation days. Hi, Amy Jacobson here. And if you've had a bad knee or hip replacement surgery, you know exactly what I'm talking about, because sometimes the surgery doesn't even work. But there is an alternative, QC Kinetics. Check it out before you go under the knife. QC Kinetics uses your own body's properties to repair damaged joint tissue due to arthritis or an injury. Folks, it's regenerative medicine. Think about it. If you cut your hand, it eventually heals. But don't take my word for it. Find out for yourself with a free consultation. And what's really cool is the fact that Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, the National Medical Director and former orthopedic surgeon, is located right here in the Chicago area. Call now to end your chronic pain and learn more about QC Kinetics. They have new locations in Gurnee and Crystal Lake. Saturday appointments available. The number to call is 312-809-5955. That's 312-809-5955. 312-809-5955.
Dan owed an unbelievable amount of money to the IRS.
I got behind on my taxes. It's a horrible feeling.
He was in denial.
And when I got those letters from the IRS, you wanted to act like they didn't exist.
Finally, Dan turned to Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima got me a settlement with the IRS. These people are really people-friendly. It was every bit of a new lease on life for me.
The fast action and the great results made Dan's head spin.
I felt like I was in a dream, but it's real, and I have paperwork to prove it. They got the job done, and life is good.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation.
If you're worried about what's going to happen with the IRS, stop worrying. Make the call now.
Call 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
8:35. Let's get a check on the roads from the Team Hochberg Traffic Center. We'll start on the Kennedy, where right now it's 84 minutes O'Hare into the Circle interchange. Ike inbound, right now an hour 15 from 390 into the old post office. Things are slow on the outbound Ike as well. You're jamming up between Laramie and Des Plaines Avenue, 27 to Manheim, 43 outbound to Route 59. Stevenson inbound, an hour 10 from the Tri-State into DuSable Lakeshore Drive, and the Dan Ryan at 42 heavy minutes, 95th into the Burns Circle. Traffic, a service of Mattress Firm. It's Mattress Firm's best sale of the year. Get a Sleepy's Queen mattress at the lowest price ever, just $89.99. Offer ends Tuesday, in-store pickup only. Hurry and stop by Mattress Firm during their Labor Day sale. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Now, your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Mostly sunny and nice, high 78, clear 59 overnight, sunshine, and 84 tomorrow. Mostly sunny and 61 at O'Hare. Your next news update is at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Because you can't get and you won't stop. All right. I love this song. Who sings this song, John Anthony? Anybody? Justin? Oh, Beastie Boys.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Hello, Beastie Boys singers. Hello.
I just put the headphones on.
Rest in peace, Mike D. Didn't he die? Oh, I'm trying to be hip right now, and it's really not working.
Yeah. Get off that stage, Amy.
Okay.
Move along.
John Anthony.
Run along.
For Dan Proft today. So glad you're here.
Yeah.
Because God is good.
All the time?
God is good.
No.
Oh, darn it.
All the time.
And all the time. Okay.
I'm going to start it off. God is good.
And all the time.
No, Amy. Oh my God. You're so white girl right now.
One more time.
God is good. You say all the time.
All the time.
And then I say all the time. Then you say
God is good.
All right. Let's try it again.
And I didn't get, okay. Right.
You want to start off or you want me to start off?
Oh, okay, you start off.
God is good.
All the time.
And all the time?
God is good.
There you go.
And I didn't say it in an accent.
No, you did.
Like Kamala Harris did. Here she is in D-Town.
You better thank a union member for the 5-day work week. You better thank a union member for sick leave. You better thank a union member for paid leave. You better thank a union member for vacation time.
And then a few hours later in Pittsburgh.
Thank unions for sick leave. Thank unions for paid family leave. Thank unions for your vacation time.
Aren't you as a black man insulted by that?
You do know that I'm black, right?
You are?
Yeah, ish. But yes. It's not just her though. It's a problem with the Democrat Party that they feel like they have to use these ebonics to speak to black people. And black people are very professional. Black people can enunciate and articulate good words. No, I'm from Rockford, but that's neither here nor there. Inside joke. It bothers me, and it bothers a lot of black people that I know.
I mean, she's California raised and Canadian raised by two parents who are professors, and her new accent multiple times in the past month. I mean, she's used several different accents. So
AOC,
Hillary Clinton,
Bruce Rauner.
What? No, has Bruce Rauner done that?
He dropped his G's.
But that's kind of an Illinois thing.
Yeah, no.
No?
No.
When did Bruce Rauner drop his G's?
Oh, he dropped his G's a lot.
When?
Riding with bad. I made a post there. You know how Clyburn says, I'm riding with Biden.
Oh, yeah, we played
now
that.
Now he hiding with Biden. He hiding now.
All right. Scott McKay joins us now, publisher of The Hayride, senior editor at The American Spectator, and author of Racism, Revenge, and Ruin, and King of the Jungle. Good morning, Scott. How are you?
Hey, Amy, John, how are you?
So,
happy belated Labor Day, I guess.
Thank you. You too, to all the workers out there. What do you make of the changing Kamala Harris's accent?
Well, putting my Democrat hat on, what I would say is she still sounded better than Biden did. his last foray into public speaking, pretty much validated the coup, having shown very limited ability to make complete sentences. So insulting Ebonics patois is actually not that bad, given the current standard in the office. That having been said, I mean, this goes back to the Hillary Clinton thing. Mm-hmm. And what I notice about Kamala Harris is she's kind of a composite image, right? Like she's all of the worst characteristics of the Democrats' last, 3 or 4 presidential candidates. I mean, she's got Hillary Clinton's fake black accent. She's got, Barack Obama's fantasy economic policies that Obama didn't even have the stones to bring out. She's got, Joe Biden's foreign policy. It's all of these different things that are just like, she's a toxic candidate in every respect. And what I find is, funny is you get Nate Silver and Mark Halperin and some of these other, political analysis guys who are all kind of faintly warning the Democrats, look, all of this is fine now, but, in 2 weeks, it's not going to look so good.
Well, she just needs to keep hiding from the media for another 60 days, right?
Well, yeah, I think that's the best strategy based on what we've seen in the last 10 days they put her out there. But the problem is, and this is the problem nobody's talking about is this. All of the CNNs and the MSNBCs and the Alphabet Soup News Networks and NPR and PBS and the Washington Post and the New York Times and all the rest of these, Democrat partisan propaganda legacy corporate media entities need content. Like, they've got to have something to report on because they can't sell newspapers and they can't get TV ratings if they don't actually have fresh items to report on. And there's only so much Trump derangement syndrome that they can offer because most of that is played out. I mean, Trump is who he is at this point, and certainly there's some interesting stuff going on with Tulsi Gabbard and RFK Jr. backing him, and there's the hint of maybe having sort of a broad coalition against the ruling class that the Trump campaign recognizes. You really don't want to report on that if you're NBC News because that actually might intrigue people and get the wrong guy elected from your perspective. So you have to have something that you can push where Kamala is concerned. And the fact that they're hiding her from the media and their own talking heads are explaining the hiding by saying things like, well, we want to win, right? Which is not real good because when you're running a candidate for state rep, you really want to get them out there and push your message and show people your candidate. Now you're running somebody for president and you have to hide them in order to try to win the election. Like, people will pick up on that and say, this isn't too good.
Well, don't you think the honeymoon's over? I mean, she didn't get a bump at all from the DNC, which normally you do afterwards. It kind of stayed the same. So now are people starting to finally wake up and actually listen to the words that she says?
Well, I hope that's true, and I'm optimistic that it's true. Now, there's another interpretation of that, which is that the battle lines have so solidified that this is nothing but a turnout election, and the people who are, quote-unquote, persuadables are simply people who are not going to vote. And if that's the case, then, we don't have much of a future as a country when it's just a question of, people voting themselves money from the public till or voting for stupid things like, do I personally like someone who's running for president? I mean, just a hint for those people that still think that, if you met these people in person, you probably wouldn't like any of them.
Right.
Okay? I mean, superficially, somebody who gets into politics is very glib and comes off very friendly in a 30-second meeting, and the more you get to know them, the more you realize how fake and shallow and psychopathic they tend to be. And so really, you're not voting so much on the personality of an individual as you are a vision for the country, and it's very, very hard to look at Kamala Harris and see, first of all, any coherent vision at all, and secondly, a vision that is not absolutely terrifying and has been tried before lots of times and didn't really go well. That tax plan and some of the other things that are starting to kind of trickle out policy-wise, like, that's what's important. And I know everybody listening to the show knows this, but tell your stupid friends because this is increasingly an election that simply must be won by not the ruling class of this country, because Kamala Harris shows that ruling class is septic and it doesn't have the talent that it used to contain when it was somewhat functional.
Yeah.
I was talking to my mom about this weekend because I was, obviously not tweeting, but on Twitter or X. And did Kamala Harris, I said, I don't even think she worked at McDonald's. And my mom's like, oh, no, you better be careful. But was she on fries?
Well, I'll put it to you this way. As much water as the mainstream media has carried for her,
Yes.
This has gone on for more than a week, and none of these people have come forth with the proof, aha, you lying Republicans, that she actually did work at McDonald's. And she has now stopped saying that she worked at McDonald's, which is a pretty good tell that she didn't work at McDonald's. Yet, she went out and told everybody this, just, like, hey, I'll say this because it sounds good. The problem is it's not true. I mean, she'd be able to prove it if it was true. Her campaign team has enough money behind it and enough friendly media people that they would have been able to produce proof of this if it was actually a fact. And they haven't, so, whatever you do, don't give these people the benefit of the doubt. She didn't work at McDonald's.
Well, just like she wouldn't answer the question if she was black or not.
Well, she said she worked at McDonald's in Alameda, which is a city next to Oakland.
Right.
But she was attending college at Howard University in Washington, D.C.
Oh, but this happened over a summer.
Oh.
Oh, it doesn't make sense.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, prove it.
Yeah.
It's not that hard.
Yeah.
Get McDonald's corporate to say, yes, she worked here. Yeah. And it's been over a week. And people have been kind of scrutinizing this for over a week. The fact that they haven't been able to do this tells you it's not true.
Well, she's lying about that. What else is she lying about?
Well, or who was the independent operator?
What's that?
Who was the independent operator that might have owned that McDonald's, right?
I would think that they would come forward and say, yes, she worked for us.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's employment, okay? I mean, this stuff is not hard to document. When if you actually worked a job, they still have the records that you worked at the job. Or if not, there's a supervisor who's like, yeah,
or
I had a presidential candidate work for me. Even if the supervisors are Republican, they're going to say, yeah, it's kind of cool. Kamala Harris, who's running for president, actually worked here.
Right. And
let's talk about her.
All these people saying, yeah, she worked with me and she was on Fries.
In your piece that you wrote for Spectator.org, you talked about two biographers who they never mentioned her job.
Correct.
Wow.
All of this time, somebody would have documented it. I mean, you don't run for president and well, that's not true. Obama ran for president, and most of his background was extremely well hidden. So maybe I can't go that far, but typically speaking, let's say, if you run for president, your history's going to be pretty much an open book. And, there's no record of her working at McDonald's. So this is, I think, just something she said. But look, very few things that have come out of this woman's mouth since going way back, but certainly since she became the nominee for the Democrats, like almost nothing she says is true. Her entire, I'm for taxes or no tax on tips. No, you guys hired 80,000 IRS agents to go collect taxes on tips. What are you going to do with those people now that you've completely reversed yourself? And the fracking thing and all the rest of the border wall, all of this.
Well, the border wall, in her campaign ad, she's using Trump's border wall. That's what makes it because there's nobody crossing illegally. And that video is from the Trump while Trump was president of the United States. All right, real quick, I just want to ask you this. All right, so an excerpt in your article, 5 quick things who lies about working at McDonald's. The Free Beacon obtained a copy of Harris's October 1987 job application for a law clerk position in the Alameda County District Attorney's Office. Okay, on that form, Harris, who was in law school at the time, listed several jobs, including a month-long clerical job at a stock brokerage, and a section that asked her to list every position she held in the last 10 years. McDonald's was absent.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
and that's a standard thing, especially when you're hiring people for entry level jobs or whatever. It's account for all the time that you've had since you graduated from high school, for example. And typically speaking, you put everything that you did because everybody understands that it's not going to be that impressive, right? When you're hiring somebody right out of school. So I mean, these are tells that, yes, this is a lie that she worked at McDonald's.
Now, Scott, you see how quickly democracy is on the ballot left when Kamala became the nominee? And we know the reason why, because that wasn't their so-called democracy. Why do you think many Americans are not concerned about the process in which how she got she's now running for president of the ticket?
Well, okay, so we're now the Tuesday after Labor Day, and typically speaking, this is about the first time that people actually start to care about an election. Like the three of us are political junkies and we follow everything and so forth. And I know most of the listeners to the show are the same way. Typical, ordinary Americans care about everything other than politics because to them it's really not that interesting. So, like, what I would say is there are a whole lot of people out there who have paid, they know who Kamala Harris's what her name is because she was the vice president and people sort of kind of pay attention to the VP. They don't really know that much about her. They're going to find out about her. The only problem is they've now turned election day into election season. Yeah. And so I think like in 4 days they're going to start voting in North Carolina. And, you have a level of ignorance by the public that they barely know her name, but they don't know the full sort of definition of Kamala Harris yet. And yet, like in North Carolina, these people have like 4 days before they're going to start voting. So, that's a problem. You don't have the informed electorate that you need, largely because of the, massive early voting that we're now doing. Typically speaking, you get a better electorate on election day because they've gone through the entire campaign and seen everything. Right. And that's one reason why this early voting stuff needs to really get rolled back. But, Democrats don't want that because typically speaking, they run hand-selected candidates, and they don't run actual campaigns anymore. Biden in 2020 used COVID as an excuse and did virtually nothing of a traditional campaign. And, Obama, basically ran away from his entire life. And certainly his ideological background and everything else, and it worked for him. Hillary Clinton actually ran a full campaign, and that didn't work so well.
She was horrible. So remember when I'll never forget this because I used to live in Iowa, and Iowans don't like this kind of stuff. She walked in a parade, John, and she had a rope around her. So she was in the middle of a squared off rope section, and they marched down the street like that to keep people and to keep the media from asking her questions.
Of course.
She shot herself in the own foot, and then the whole server, I wiped it down.
Democracy in
She's
action.
lucky she's not in jail for all of that. All right, Scott McCabe.
And they learned a lesson. They'll never run a real campaign again, I don't think.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, no, never. And then how are you feeling about Trump's chances right now? What does he need to do to win this? Because, after Labor Day, there's a reset, and now you're on the driveway home.
I think that the basic formula of what he's doing is pretty good. I think J.D. Vance is sensational. Get him out there as much as possible. Yeah. He had an unbelievable answer to this CNN reporter's question the other day about, why is Brian Kemp backing Trump? And he just basically said, because it's that important that we got Tulsi and RFK Jr., and we got Nikki Haley and Brian Kemp, and everybody's in the Big Ten. It's great answer. Get him out there as much as possible. But really, like, the ads need to be Kamala Harris is going to literally destroy this country. Whether you like Trump or not, you got to get on board if you want to save America. And that's a true statement. And I think that it will resonate with enough people to win Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and the Sun Belt battleground states. And I think he's going to do okay. But you have to lean on her, not just on policy, but on lies. And if you can do that, I think you will wear the Democrats down, and I think you're gonna go in with probably a little bit of a mandate as well.
Yeah.
All right. Scott McCabe, publisher of The Hayride, senior editor at The American Spectator, and author of Racism, Revenge, and Ruin, and King of the Jungle. Scott McCabe, always a pleasure. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks, guys. Have a great one.
You too. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Are you turning 65 and thinking about Medicare? Or are you over 65 and haven't enrolled yet because you still have coverage at work? Either way, Medicare done correctly will be the best health insurance you will ever have. Imagine having an annual deductible of only $240. There are only two good things about aging: wisdom and Medicare. But to navigate the Medicare maze properly, you need a mentor. Best part, my guidance cost you nothing. Call me. I can help.
If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Medicare, then you need a local expert on your side, your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 30-year licensed broker who's been educating our listeners for more than a decade. Steve, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
Thanks, Dan. They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551. That's 630-674-1551.
At Signature Bank, going the distance for business banking customers is what we do every day. We understand that business owners have a strategic mission, a drive to succeed, a plan for growth, and don't have time to wait for a bank to respond. With Signature Bank, you not only have a banking partner that has roots right here in Chicago, but our decisions are made locally too. Signature Bank knows that when you have a question or problem about your business, you want answers. You need someone who will pick up the phone or respond to your text. You need someone who is always there for you. That's Signature Bank. We are a team that wants to get to know you and your business. Want to be Signature Bank's next success story? Give us a call today at 773-467-5630 or visit us online at signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
I'm worried about Mom. She's having a tough time moving around the house.
Oh, I know. She still thinks she can do everything on her own.
Exactly, but I've been over there every day this week, helping her navigate the stairs, cooking meals, reminding her to take her medicine. I'm always nervous when I leave.
You know what? I admire you for taking care of Mom. But your family needs you too. And what if she slips and falls? A friend recommended the caregivers at Senior Helpers of Naperville Southwest. They service Cook, DuPage, Kane, and Will counties. They guarantee compatibility and they'll conduct a free safety assessment of her home. Plus, they'll provide as little or as much care as Mom needs.
Senior Helpers of Naperville Southwest, offering both hourly and live-in care. Schedule a free assessment today by calling 331-281-0728. That's 331-281-0728. Again, that's 331-281-0728. And tell them AM 560 sent you. Senior Helpers of Naperville Southwest. Senior care, only better.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, thanks so much to Justin Kosa, Quinn McCarthy. Couldn't do it without you. And, of course, John Anthony.
Hey.
Love you, love you.
Thank you.
We'll see you tomorrow morning. Plenty of sunshine, a high of 78. It's 9 a.m. WIND, Chicago.
It's up to at least 47 deaths in Ukraine. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. After one of Russia's most lethal attacks yet in the war, 2 missiles hit the Poltava region where President Zelensky says crews are working to pull victims out of the rubble. The number of injured Ukrainians revised up to 206.